because there are general questions. Well, I'm sure that will get automatically answered. Give me quick 2 minutes. I'm sure we'll be able to understand. This is a very important slide. Why? Because this is eligibility criteria, whether you can write PMP exam or not. Well, primarily, PMP is meant for the people who are doing project. Practically, they are project managers. So not necessarily my title should be project manager, but who have been doing projects, who have experience of doing projects. So please keep this in mind. There are eligibility criteria. If I want, I can't simply go and write the PMP exam. I can't become a PMP if I just want it. No, I'll have to fulfill those criteria. So let's talk about those criteria. It's important to understand them clearly. First, option number 1. That's the first option. It says that you should be a graduate. So first of all, ignore this 4-year degree. Well, what it means, you should have a graduation. Because why it says 4-year degrees? Because in US, all graduations are like 4 years. But there are different part of the world. There are 3 years graduation. There are 4 years graduation. So it need not be a 4-year. All you should have is a graduation from some qualified, some like a reputed, like some recognized universities. So typically you should be a graduate. That's all. Then it says you should have 36 months of leading projects. Let me just kind of clarify. This point is very important from an eligibility criteria perspective. 36 months, which is 3 years. So let's understand what kind of 3 years we're talking about. So first, let's get into this it says leading projects. So first, should my title, my designation should be a project manager? The answer is no. You can have a designation of operations manager also. Or you can be doing a job of a supervisor. The designation need not to be project manager, which has to be crystal clear. Having said that, whatever job role, title, designation you may have, but you should have been leading activities of project. Because within a project, you have one project manager, but the other people also carrying various activities in a project. Somebody is doing a quality management. Somebody is taking lead on quality management. Somebody is doing procurement part of it. Somebody is doing the risk management. Somebody is probably looking into the scope part of it. Somebody is doing the cost management, all that. So there are different teams which are working within a project team. There are a lot of people who are taking initiatives. They've got people, like they have a team of maybe 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 10 people. Bottom line, they are leading some initiatives. So what it's asking is your designation should not be project manager, but you should have been leading some activities. You should have been leading some stuff within that project. So you should be it could be, there are a lot of aspects of the project. So you could be doing a part of it. Well, it's not that one person as a project manager. Yes, project manager would know every part of it, but you don't have 10 different project managers you only have one. So other people are also doing activities. So your experience should be 36 months of leading projects, which has to be some sort of initiatives in the project you should be leading. Now, what 36 months we're talking about? It should be non-overlapping. That's the first condition, non-overlapping experience. And I'll explain what is non-overlapping. First condition is non-overlapping, and that too in last 8 years. Last 8 years, this experience should be there. And let me now talk about what is this non-overlapping. If I started a project in the month of, say, Jan, the project started, and this goes on and on and on and on, and this goes till, say, next year ends in the month of Feb. So this is, say, hypothetically 2023, and this is Feb 2024. This is a pretty long project. While this project was going on, somehow another project I also became a part of another project somewhere in October 2023. This project went on and on and ended in the month of March 2024. Now, if you see this period, October till Feb, this is actually, you were engaged in 2 projects. You can't count this 2 times. Bottom line, non-overlapping means you can count it here or here. You cannot count this as 2 experiences. You can either count it here or you count it here. So that should be non-overlapping. What I will in short, what is the total experience here? Jan till March. That's your total experience. You can't count this double. That's it. That's what it means. non-overlapping experience. If you have overlapping experience, the overlapping part will be only counted once and not twice. And that to be within last 8 years. This experience should be there. That's the eligibility criteria. You don't have it, you're not qualified to give a PMP exam. Then comes the third criteria for which you have enrolled with IMC. Where is the role of IMC comes into picture? So this is your graduation. This is your experience. So you have three criteria only. So A, education, B, experience, and third, PMI expects that people who are already doing projects, so they're experienced people, they're doing the job, they know how project works, but still they don't need to be taught how project management. So in this entire program, I will not be teaching you project management. Please understand the name of the course is PMP Exam Preparation Course. So we're not going to teach you project management. It's preparing you for the exam. That's it. So project management is like more of a degree course, but this 35 hours of it's a exam preparation course. So keeping in mind you're already doing projects, it's just about helping you understand when you will go and write the PMP exam, what are the topics. So it's more of a quick brush up for those topics. You should have an understanding what kind of question would be asked. So it's a preparation for that exam preparation, not teaching you project management, because it is meant for the people who are already project managers, who are doing projects. So please keep this in mind. In this course, we are not teaching you project management. You're already doing projects. It's understood. That's why, because it's meant for the people who are experienced people. Now, these 35 hours are given by IMC. So it is a mandatory requirement that you should have taken a formal training before you write a PMP exam, 35 hours of training so that you can write an exam. So you have done enough preparation for your exam, and then you should go back and write the PMP exam. I'll talk about how to do that. That will come into picture. Well, generally, there's one more thing which is called CAPM, Certified Associate of Project Management. So bottom line, this is meant for the people who cannot have this criteria fulfilled, like somebody who's a fresher, somebody who does not have experience. Well, I'm just starting my career and I obviously don't have experiences. So what I can do, I can take up a CAPM certification. CAPM certification is more of like a junior or an associate project manager. But since you don't have, at least you want to have some formal recognized certification globally, you end up taking a CAPM. So if you have already taken CAPM, say in case somebody has already taken CAPM, now with the virtue of time, this person has worked and has required experience now wants to upgrade to PMP, that person is not required to have 35 hours. So if you already have a CAPM certification, that means you've already gone through same training and you pass the CAPM. So you have a CAPM certification from PMI. So if you already have a CAPM designation from PMI, then you don't have to take 35 hours training. It's not applicable for those people to take up these trainings because they already done it, and they have, instead of writing a PMP exam, they have written a CAPM exam. That content is same, but since they don't have enough experience, they've been sort of marked as a junior project manager kind of thing. So that's where CAPM comes into picture. So I believe none of us are CAPM, and you need a 35 hours of formal training for which you will be writing the PMP exam. So after you complete this exam, this training, the 35 hours, you will have to go and write the PMP exam, like not the PMI one, but IMC's question paper for project management. And this one, when you pass and you have completed 35 hours, IMC will issue a certificate that, yes, this is your certificate, training certificate for 35 hours. That's what an institution can give. Nobody in the world can issue PMP certification apart from PMI. PMI is the only body which can issue PMP certification. Every other institution can only give you 35 hours of training. Because why? Because it's an eligibility criteria. Well, you're fortunate, and I'll say why you fortunate, because you are enrolled with IMC, and IMC happens to be the premium institution of PMI. So the PMI has lots of training institutions globally who have registered. So we call them registered institutions. So REP, registered, basically they are registered institutions who have just registered with PMI that we teach this PMP course. But now it's up to PMI to like people who enroll and take up the training with those registered ones. It is up to PMI whether they will accept the 35-hour certificate from those institutions or not. It's up to PMI. So there is a big risk. That's one. Second, the ones who are authorized PMI institutions, who are on panel of PMI institutions, there are two classifications. One are called silver institutions, one are the platinum ones, and IMC happens to be the platinum ones. We definitely get more privilege. We get more help from PMI because PMI obviously wants the people to be enrolling, not typically with those registered ones, but with the institutions who are off PMI. So yes, IMC happens to be the premium one. We do have extra leverage we get material as we go through. I'll be able to share and talk about what is the extra benefit. So silver ones, like they do get benefit, but we get obviously lot of benefit. So I will be able to share all that benefit with you. And that's what is the benefit of enrolling with a PMI authorized institutions, and that to a premium one. Why? Because you get those benefits. So we pass on the benefit to the people who are enrolled with us. So, and that is not available in the market because it is only given to those specific institutions and no one else. So even if you want to buy, you can't buy, bottom line. So we'll talk about those benefits and all what we have here. So that's one criteria. Second criteria is also there. Generally in US, there are people who are not graduates. Why? Because there's a culture of the startup program. So right after your schools, pretty much you end up kind of getting into a startup program. So you don't go for graduation. And it's pretty expensive in US also. So a lot of people cannot afford graduation in US. So there, like say, and PMI also understands that kind of audience is also there. So they also allow for people who do not have graduation. So if you do not have a graduation, it is okay. Well, with a high school diploma, which is okay. But since you did not go for graduation and you started working early, then it expects you to have more experience. Since you did not spend like 3 years or 4 years studying, you should have worked more. So you are expected to have 60 months of experience, which is like 5 years of project leading experience. Instead of 3, you would be expected to have 5. And again, 35 hours condition is still there for them. So these are either you should qualify the A criteria or you should qualify B criteria. And there is no exception for, well, I don't have this or that. This all three has to be there. All three has to. So whether A or B has to be, like you should have fulfilled that. That's the eligibility criteria, and really wanted to make sure we clear about it. Now, if anyone has any question on the eligibility part, you can please pitch in the chat. And okay, let me just quickly see if there is a question. I guess my bad. I will quickly check this out. No, I not require if you pass the. Okay, let me quickly see here. There's a message. So after the course, we have to pass CAPM before. No. You don't have to pass CAPM. You can directly so if you have the experience, you will be. So first of all, you write the PMP. You will write the IMC exam, get the certificate from IMC, and then you will be registering yourself with PMI for writing the PMP exam. I'll be sharing all that process right now. Okay. Give me one quick. I guess this is a lot of them. Based on second, I have research project guidance and 12 years speech level. Yeah, absolutely. So, Rukusha, that's absolutely fine. See, it's undergrads, it's not a problem. That's why you've got plenty of experience. Fine. Go and give the exam, which is not a problem. Absolutely, yes. It's fine. How do I prove PMI that? Well, I'll come to this, all those. So proving part will come to that. All that element will come in later. Let me kind of talk about that. So I'm saying they will take the exam application, like a dedicated team. Yeah, I will. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. The application part we haven't discussed. Let's hang on. Only the part. So we haven't discussed the application. I will be talking about it. So experience, well, how that experience will be validated and all that. So just the criteria, if it's okay with us, whether how to submit that application. What if we are like that the element of like how do we prove it's 36 months or not? Well, if they ask you how to prove that part, we will be talking about it later. But in case, okay, let me see. I have 30 years of work experience. Don't have 36 months leading in project. Well, then were you leading some activities in the process? Well, to do like when the projects were done, were you doing I'm not talking about you have a title of project manager, but were you leading some initiatives in the project? If you were, then it's fine. So we'll talk about that, Mr. Zakir. I will be quickly talking about how it's done, how the verification part. Let's move one thing at a time. We haven't talked about just the criteria. If just the criteria, it's not like so. Getting laid off, it's not a problem. It's absolutely fine. Getting laid off, project has a nature. So people will move on. Like it will be fine. And yes. Were you a part of certain projects in your 22 years of experiences? Were you part of certain projects within that period? Like, so that is what it is. Okay. So, all right. So then see, you need to have project experiences, and that's what it is. It needs. Yeah, any project will count. It doesn't matter NGO what, like any project is a project. So we need to have, unless without that, again, you may have to go and end up writing a CAPM in that case, Diana. So, just not having a project experience will not help, because you have to have one. Because that's either you have this or you have that. I will talk about examination. Well, so like let's also again a humble request to everyone. Please, CAPM is, I said, like CA Certified Associate of Project Management. It's more of a junior of a project manager. At least you have a sort of a global certification, and when you acquire experience doing project, you can upgrade to a PMP then. CAPM. Now, quick one, please keep this in mind. We have not talked about the process of filing application. We've not talked about, what if it gets audited? I will come to those elements. Let's move one thing at a time. Is the criteria clear to everyone? That's what I wanted to talk about. Is the criteria clear? Let's move one thing at a time, because otherwise things will get mixed up. Let's move on now. Quick, let's see. I'm going to play this quick short video, and everything, like before we get started, everything will get clear. You will have no pending questions there, I'm sure, by the time we get there. I'm playing this quick short video here.
As we adapt to new ways of working and prepare for future disruption, organizations will see a growing need for skilled project managers. The PMI 2022 Jobs Report showcases emerging sectors and trending industries where project leaders can find opportunities to drive growth and innovation in every region of the globe. Countries in the Asia-Pacific region expect their economies to grow in 2022. Meanwhile, talent is in high demand in many countries and industries. While China's economy has experienced a slight slowdown, a number of factors should contribute to increased project activity, including consumer spending increases and China's energy transition plan. Supply chain disruption and rising energy prices, along with rapid digitalization, are driving an increased demand for project professionals in Europe, especially in IT. The current conflict in the region will have long-term humanitarian and economic consequences that will require response. There has been a spike in demand throughout Latin America for project managers, particularly in the technology and manufacturing sectors. Rebounding oil pricing, government investment in high-profile mega-projects, and international events like Expo 2020 Dubai and the 2022 FIFA World Cup promise to reinvigorate the region's economy and need for project managers. The Great Resignation and supply chain problems have put job seekers in high demand in the US and Canada as companies look toward automation and digitization to protect against future disruption. Despite the pandemic, the global demand for products manufactured in South Asia has continued to increase over the past 2 years. As a result, companies are willing to invest more in project managers with strong innovation and leadership skills. Nearly a third of global aid, roughly $32 billion, is spent in Africa, and that's fueling new development jobs across the region, up to 45% of which will need project talent. The demand for project talent is high around the world. Are you ready to take your career to the next level?
Okay, I guess there could be some people who may still have questions related to whether my kind of role or whatever kind of experience I have, does that qualify to be called as a project, and will I be? So I would request you, because I'm keeping in mind the time constraint we have. So if for the every individual query, if in case you do not have the clarity whether you have your work can be counted as a project, whether it can be like or something like whether that can be presented as a project or not, well, I would request you to please connect with your respective program coordinator who got you enrolled in the program. So, well, we will be able to touch base. I will also touch base with you so we can have that clarity done and we can see, scan through your experience and see how it can be worked out. So please do connect with your program coordinator so that they generally have a like a some sort of forum they have created. So they kind of loop you, me, and the somebody from IMC will be there. So if anyone has like a sort of doubt about whether my experience qualifies for that experience criteria, because that's where only see there will be no confusion around the graduation part or like or that thing, or for that matter experience. Only the experiences where things may be like sort of we may have confusion, which is okay. It's absolutely fine. And please connect with your program coordinator who got you enrolled in the program, so they will route you through a person. Like, so I do get this like, so we generally get connected and we will be able to have a discussion individually one-on-one to scan through your profile, and we'll be able to work it out, see what can be done on that one. So that will be a better way to deal with it. Individually, we'll be able to discuss that. Moving on to the next one here. Quick one here. This is what you should be prepared for. Now, really wanted to make sure that we at least talk about this basic elements. I'll be talking about breaks and also, but like good probably half an hour, I might just keep giving you the background of what we are getting into. So, but it's required. That's how it's supposed to be done. Now, the examination that you will be giving will have three major components. Three major components. What are those? As a project manager, PMI expects you to be expert at three domains. These are referred as domains. It says ways of working. Now, earlier, this is a new name that PMI has given it. Earlier, ways of working was called as process. Now, what it means, it's about the technical knowledge of handling a project. What is ways of working here? Like a cost management, risk management, schedule management. You look into the procurement part. Well, that is when you talk about if my project is getting delayed, how to pull it back, how to look at the like those metrics called earned value management, SPI, CPI. So we'll talk about all those things. But this area is all about having the technical know-how, how a project needs to be managed on the core technical part of it. So preparing the WBS structure, like looking at the project scope statement, all that like risk assessment, qualitative assessment, quantitative assessment, and all that part we talk about is all related to the technical part. So which is called as ways of working. This has maximum weightage in your exam, technical part, which is 50% of your exam question will be on this. Then comes power skills. Earlier, they used to call it as people. Now they call it power. Now, new name has been like they feel like kind of making the changes time and again. Now they call it people. Now we call it as power skills, which constitute 42% of your examination question, which is very, very big part. And pretty much what do you mean by this one? People management, leadership skills, communication skills. How effective are you as a project manager? Well, having a project technical knowledge is just not good enough. You got to manage people. So how good are you with conflict management? Because you will get into conflict. There will be disputes. Well, there will be people who are not ready to work the way you want. How do you manage through that dispute? You don't get people the way you want. You get the people who are not skilled enough. How do you motivate them? How do you do the skill development? That is where it got into the people part. So project manager has to be good people manager. And that's where the would utilize the leadership skills. And that section is all about. So 42% around the people management part. And then a small portion, but a very important one, business acumen. Earlier, they used to call it as business environment. Now they call it as business acumen. This will be about 8% of your project, the examination question. 8% is in this one. Now, what do you cover in this? Technically, PMI doesn't expect a project manager to know a lot about this. Why? Because our job is not in here. This is done by the executive team members, the leadership team. They do it, but should we know it? Yes. So that's why they are talking about 8%. Basically, what is covered in this business acumen, business environment, it's about the knowledge of what is a project, what kind of organization we are working in, because there are different types of organization. Based on the type of organization, what will be the authority, role of a project manager? In case, well, you are working in a company, there is no culture of a project, and you are hired as a project manager. Well, there are different there are blended ones, there are like pure project ones. So we'll talk about different types. So having the knowledge of that kind of different kind of organization types is important. Well, understanding the difference between project, program and portfolio. Well, when you are trying to, like, we don't discuss, we don't decide it, but when a project is selected, how that initial the decision is taken, well, based on the cost benefit analysis, you look at the net present value, IRR. You don't do that. It's a business analyst who does this job. So we are nowhere in the picture of that calculation of net present value, IRR, and all that, because this is people who are from finance department or business analytics will do the job with the leadership. They will decide a project, and then you are assigned as a project manager. So my job comes in later. Once a project has been assigned, that's when my role comes into existence. But should I know before I was hired what kind of discussion has happened? Yes. So that's where the business environment, this section is all about knowing the various company policies, compliances, regulatory stuff, because you have to be careful about that, because within the company culture environment will have a project impact. Well, practically you don't control them. Can you control your company's policies, your management policies, the government regulations? No. But will that have an impact? Yes. That's the 8% part. So you should know, because you have to be careful about that, because that could turn risky. So it's about this, the 100% of your examination, PMP examination, not the IMC one, the PMP examination question, after which you get the PMP tag, that question paper exam will have this kind of distribution. Well, we talk about the different types here. Now, when we talk about project management, we will see that there are three terms we will keep on like coming up time and again. Project management, when you talk about traditional one, and the only one practically was always something called predictive project management. What is predictive one? It's a plan-driven project management, plan-driven. You plan and you execute the plan. What kind of projects are called predictive projects? Construction, like you're building a dam, you're building road, construction of highways, bridges, townships, oil refinery setup, all plan driven. You do massive planning, and then you go about kind of executing the plan. Well, Maha, we will be, okay, so budgeting part will come into picture. So primarily, see, project selection is not my job, because I will only come into picture when I get into the project. So this is job done by the business analyst. When I get into the project, then the budget will be my part. When my project gets initiated. So business acumen part is about before it's a question about whether should we do the project or not. That's where you're not there. So when the project gets initiated, then the budgeting comes in our role. That part will come into picture later. So budgeting will be there because the cost will be a part of your project. Okay, so coming back to the predictive one, this is the only way how projects were done since the beginning till date, not till date, practically the only universal way of handling a project was always predictive. 100% traditional, and that's evergreen, never gonna die, 100% way, and absolutely incredible, the core project manager's job, which is about plan-driven, predictive one. That means you do intense planning, absolutely intense planning, and you go ahead and execute the plan. So you're doing a construction of like a highway, road, hospital. Will sit down and prepare lots of plan. And let me show you a quick one. So we can quickly, when we talk about, we can understand what we're talking about. What kind of job happens in case of predictive? So what kind of planning? It's completely plan-driven. So while I talk about it, I'll quickly keep showing you some elements. This is how, these are the things which intense planning is done. In the predictive one, there's intense planning, absolutely intense planning. Look at this. So you prepare a project management plan, scope management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, resource management, communication management, risk management, procurement. They're like so many plans. So it's a completely plan driven. You do intensive planning, and then you execute the plan. So here, predictive is the evergreen way of handling projects. And they say the construction, oil, refinery, and all that, it's always the predictive one. Earlier, before 2021, people who would have given a PMP exam, their 100% question paper was predictive, 100%. After 2021, post-pandemic stuff, PMI made a biggest change in the question paper, and they said, okay, predictive is not the only way to do the project. Predictive is actually not the only way, because projects are done in a different way also. So they included, starting 2021, the adaptive way, which is we call as agile. Agile methodology came into picture. So now agile, I'll explain what is agile also. Like what kind of agile projects are agile? Agile projects are like software development. Agile projects are like website designing. In agile, we love changes. We make changes. We can make changes anytime. We encourage changes. We are adaptive to the changes, because this market is so dynamic. This market, like, so if I am trying to design a website, my initial requirement was normal website. But while the website designing is going on, I realized, well, I want to integrate a payment gateway also. I would like to include a shopping cart. I will make it a e-commerce portal within that website. I will have chat GPT integration. I can continue to add new requirements. So it is very change prone. So we would it will be always embracing the change. We love changes. Agile is more about dynamic nature, because the world is very changing very fast. So we cannot have a rigid approach. No, I can't change it. No, the current trend, when the market, the kind of job we are in, the industry, the way it's trending, you have to be agile. You have to change. You have to understand market dynamics and adjust your product accordingly. Adjust your service accordingly. So agile is change driven. So we love changes, but we don't love changes in predictive. Predictive is absolutely, it hates changes. Well, we do allow changes, but we very rarely allow change. We don't like changes in predictive because we have invested a lot of time. It's very painful to make changes in predictive. Agile, it's not painful. We'll go, and when we study in detail, we'll realize that it's not painful, and we love changes. We allow market. We allow us to study the market and then adopt those changes as we move forward. But in predictive, we can't. And it's very painful to do that. Like, I'm doing a construction. My plan was a 5-story building. Well, the first floor got done, second floor got done, third floor is going on. And I say, no. My plan changed my plans. Let's make a studio apartment. Sorry, can't be done. This just cannot be done. So changes are very, very painful. You can't do that. So here we plan and we simply execute the plan. So changes are hated in predictive. That's the traditional one. Agile, we say, okay, why not? Well, you want extra thing? Well, let's add it. So agile was the new way of handling a project. So, 2021 onwards, they said, okay, predictive will be 50% questions. Agile and hybrid. What is hybrid? Hybrid is mix of both of them. So that's the going forward. Future is all about hybrid. Take the best practice of predictive, take the best practice of agile, and you are the boss, project manager. Do mix and match. Some good practices from here, some good practices from here. Make your own version. That's hybrid. So remaining 50% question has agile practices and hybrid. So both will constitute remaining 50%. So now your examination has, and still if you say predictive is still heavyweight. Why? 50% is here. Agile is there, but hybrid also has predictive in it. In hybrid, you also have predictive. So still, if you go and write the exam, predictive will be heavyweight, and the difficult part is predictive. Agile is very soft, very easy, soft, and it's going to be easy to handle. When I talk about predictive, yes, that's complicated. That will be technical part. We'll have to understand that part. And if you do not have an experience of doing a project, it becomes even more difficult. Why? Because in the examination, no question will come from the book. There is absolutely no question. You can't just pick up read a question and say, it's not like you read something and answer. No, every question in the exam is scenario based. The PMI wants to understand, when you're writing a PMP exam, every question there is going to be scenario will be explained. No straight question, a scenario. And they will say, as a project manager, what's your decision? So they want to understand your mindset as a project manager. Are you settled? Are you matured enough to take the right decision. So all are scenario based. So somebody who has experience of handling project, somebody who has been doing a project, understands how the life cycle of a project management happens in predictive, in agile, will be able to answer based on the experience of handling a project. If you have a complete understanding how a project works in predictive, like from the beginning till the end, the roadmap of project management of in predictive and roadmap in agile, it's easier to handle those scenario based questions. So it is why practically PMP exam is meant for people who are experienced ones, because the questions will be all scenario based. You can't find any question in there which is going to be straightforward question. All will be a scenario. So all in this content, whatever we'll be studying, please, my humble request, do not make an effort to memorize. There's nothing which needs to be memorized. Everything needs to be understood, because all you got to keep in mind, nothing will come from the study material. Nothing will come from the books. There is no book from which exams are written. Exams are all scenario based. So you have to understand the content and not memorize the content. Do not make that mistake of memorizing, because that will restrict your thinking process. So think, understand, and it's more about challenging your thought process of how a project manager will deal. So you please get that mindset out of the picture that I have to sit, memorize content and just give it. No, it won't happen. So PMP exam needs lots of practice, lot of practice. And primarily when you practice this, it will be, well, in terms of after this 35 hours exam, are you ready to give the PMP exam? The answer is absolutely no. 35 hours exam is just to prepare you. After that, you have to practice questions. So I'll be sharing the material also. You have to practice. It needs that like a good 1 month or 1.5 months practice preparing for the exam. And I'll talk about exam part. But I can highlight a quick one. So PMP certified people before. Well, you don't take retest, Mr. Faiz. You just have to, like there's something called renewal process. Whenever you do that renewal after 3 years, PMP certification is valid for 3 years. So you have to renew it. And for renewal, you don't write exam. You will have to just, in 3 years, you have to showcase that you have invested in terms of learning on yourself, like 60 hours in last 3 years. So some sort of training or probably, and there are so many different ways and free methods, watch YouTube videos, read books, take some counseling session, give some feedback to people. So there are a lot of ways how you can showcase that I've invested in the uplifting of myself. So there's no retake of exam required after that. Just keep paying the small, and renewal fee is very, very less. So it's easy to just keep renewing. And free. Having said that, is it clear? Is this one only payment and there's some experience which will be done? Well, like a trainings that you have to showcase that I've invested 60 hours on myself. So you keep submitting those claims that I have watched a YouTube for leadership. I have watched this, some sort of thing. I have taken up some so-and-so training. I have conducted some training. I've given it back to society for society development. So you have to showcase that 60 hours you've contributed some way, to yourself or to people. So there is a distribution. But that's a later part. Project manager for music concert is different. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. So when you talk about project management, there are two ways. Don't go about construction. It's about the plan. Think about, please, again, that's what you have to keep in mind. Get out of the terminology. Try to understand. One was plan driven. Are you going to, in your music concert, do you plan and then execute your plan? Or you make the real-time changes? It's the process you have to understand. You have to keep that in mind. It's not about construction. We'll talk about people who are doing this thing. They're from across all the industry. And I don't come from a construction. I don't come from a software development one. Bottom line, you got to understand the process here. Process is about, are you planning and then executing the plan? Or you are doing, like, or in case of agile, it's about you're all allowing changes to happen to the process. So it's not about construction, because that's one area where I generally see the predictive method working. That's what it is about. So you won't allow in your music, to answer your question, Mr. Marciano, in a music concert, you will be doing a predictive one, because you can't do last minute change. Will you be able to do that? It's a music concert. You planned everything last minute. That's going to be fiasco. Big trouble. You would not have. It's a plan driven. You can't do that. It's not that the guy will come and say, okay, no, let's do it. Let's change it now last minute. No, it's not going to happen. Plan. I have planned. I've prepared everything. I want that to work. Simple as that. So Well, let's is it clear, the exam pattern for first? And there's some more things to talk about exam. It's not over yet. Okay, let's move ahead then. Talk about. Now, big question, where would the questions come from? Is there a book that I had to read? That I have already answered. There's no book in the world from which the examination will come. A lot of people will talk about, there's some book called PMBOK. By PMBOK, we talk about. No, the question doesn't come from any book. Okay. But within predictive implementation, there would be elements. You will do mix and match, Farah. You can do mix and match. And that's why it is the world going forward will be hybrid. Absolutely. The future is hybrid. You do mix and match. You should know what is predictive. You should know what is agile and do mix and match. Enjoy the music. And honestly, it's hybrid is the future. Is the future is hybrid. Why just stick to one? You enjoy both the best of both the worlds. Now, big question. PMI, as said, has never issued a book from which you read and pass the exam. People have a very big misconception. There's a book called PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is issued by PMI. But that questions will not come from PMBOK. Questions will not come from anywhere. The only place from which only information which PMI gives it to people across the globe is this ECO, Exam Content Outline. That's all which it gives. PMI tells you these are the topics which you will be getting in your exam. Topics. That's all PMI tells you. Since you are project managers, you're sort of leading projects, you're doing projects. Well, and there's so much of reference material. Keep studying, do whatever you want. I'm giving you a list of topics and your questions will come from these topics. That's it. PMI doesn't give you anything else which is based on ECO. There's no material in the market which is based on exam content outline. There's so many reference books and PMBOK is one of them. Reference books. So you keep reading. There are hundreds of books in the market. A PMBOK is one of them, which is issued by PMI. So earlier there was PMBOK 6. Now you have PMBOK 7 is the latest one. But let's understand. Well, first thing first, our base, our understanding has to be crystal clear. We have to align our learning to exam content outline, because PMI has crystal clear informed you that you should have preparation done as per exam content outline, because question will come exactly from this exam content outline. This is freely available on the website. I will share this, by the way. It is freely available. Let me show you where is this exam content outline. I will share materials with you all. So just trying to answer those questions one by one. So things will get clear. This is PMP exam content outline. So these are the books I will be sharing with you. Well, I'm just going to come one by one to all those. You'll have enough study material. You will not have to go out and pick up a study material from outside, because that's all junk. So, well, what has worked for people, I just want you to follow that. So this, I will share all what you need to, because there's so much of junk online, so much of junk. So I will share. No, this is the last one, last updated. This is the last updated website. Exam got updated in 2021. This is the last one. This is what you're getting trained on. So please do not invest in anything else, because it is not going to be used, because it is not written by PMI. Since I said, like, I'm an authorized PMI trainer, and I can only issue and I can only teach the content which is issued by PMI and given to us to train. So, well, the content I have is not available in the market, not available anywhere for sale. So I will prepare you, because PMI wants us to prepare the people trained by the authorized trainers. So primarily, please just focus on what is given by PMI, because they are the one testing the exam, and this content is written by PMI, which we'll be going through. So don't try to get into quantity, go for quality, be target oriented, because the content which is created by PMI is only available what we will be sharing with you. Quick one. Here. Predictive and hybrid, predictive and adaptive is hybrid. Absolutely, yes. Hybrid is like mix and match. Do mix and match. Whatever you want, some part of predictive, some part of agile. This is what we already discussed. 42% people domain, 50% process domain, and 8% business acumen. Let's go and check this out. In your exam, what it says that there will be 3 terms, which is people, the domains, and then you have, we'll be sharing all of it. I'll just coming to it. Like, so at least you should know what things to look for, because we'll have a break tomorrow, like this Fridays, and then we'll be meeting next on Monday. So I want you to have clarity so you can scan through and see what needs to be checked, what all you should start preparing. So I want to go and tell you each thing one by one in the right sequence so you have clarity here. So I'll share all of it. You can download all of it. I'll be sharing it. But for now, let's first thing first, domain, task, and enablers. Your questions will be around these. What are domains? The three domains we talked about: people domain, process domain, business acumen. It says within project manager should be an expert of these domains, which is people domain, process domain, and the business acumen. In order to be an expert, project manager has to perform some tasks. So when the project manager is able to perform those tasks, that means the project manager is experienced one, expert in that domain. So in order to complete those tasks, the project manager will be having some activities done, and those are called enablers. And please have a look at this one. We talking about manage conflict. Which domain does it belong to? Just quick check. Where do you think which domain does it belong to? Manage conflict. People domain. Perfect. So to be an expert of people domain, a project manager must perform the task. Which task? Manage the conflict, because conflicts will happen. A good project manager should be able to perform this task of managing. How is enablers? So a project manager should be able to interpret the source and stage of the conflict, should be able to analyze the context of the conflict, why it's happening, and then recommend the solution. So practically, when you perform these enablers, you end up performing this task. And when you perform this task, you become an expert of a particular domain. So let's see, the exam content outline has this breakup. Let's see all of it one by one. This is what your exam questions will be, or PMP exam will be based on this. So first one, this is given by PMI on the website. 42% of your question from people will come from these tasks. So project manager should perform these tasks, and these tasks will have some bit of explanation given here. So manage conflict, we just talked about, should be able to lead a team. Your questions will come from these topics. Supporting the team performance, what all project managers should do. Some bit of details are given here. Empower the team members and stakeholders. Ensure team members and stakeholders are adequately trained. Building a team, and so on and so forth. So you have got 14 tasks. So all in all, you have to become, as a project manager, when you're learning this PMP content for exam preparation, you should become expert for these total 14 tasks. That's when you say, okay, I am confident that I can answer the questions coming from people domain. These questions in the people domain will be asked based on this 14 tasks and their enablers. Moving on to the next one. In the process domain, which is the technical part. Well, it's about execute the project with urgency to deliver value, manage communication, assess and manage risk, stakeholder engagement, plan and manage budget and resources, so on and so forth. This is a bigger one. You got 17 tasks as a project manager. You must perform, you should become an expert of these 17 tasks and their associated enablers. When you are able to do that, you can say, well, I, as a project manager, have good technical knowledge and have good understanding or control over the process domain. So you should prepare yourself around these 17 tasks. And unfortunately, PMI doesn't give you anything for this. It says keep studying a lot of reference material. Let's see what we got. 8%, the smaller one, got 4 tasks here. Well, we'll come to that. Those are knowledge areas only. And just go, that's why go and study them. They're knowledge areas, study them. You got so much of material everywhere in the market, go and check them out. There's no material given. Okay, 4 tasks is what you have here. And that's what a project manager has to become it. So whenever you're learning the content and trying to understand and prepare yourself, you should be able to go and scan through this. Am I able to, do I have clarity about these tasks? What all we have to do? So just check them out, because your examination question will be based on this content. Now, as I said, there's no book in the market as of now which is based on this exam content. Like there's so much of reference material, this and that. You keep scanning hundreds of books, but the only material which PMI has created based on this exam content outline is the training slides that we are given. Like only the PMI authorized trainer has those slides which are created by PMI based on exam content outline. So but the problem here is I cannot distribute these slides. Why? Because just want to make sure we don't get those questions. I cannot, because they are restricted. We are not authorized by PMI to distribute those slides because they are instructor slides. But since the session will get recorded, I will be using the slides in the session. And technically, any which ways you are having an access to it, but in a digital form. So what I've done is that these are the slides which are exactly based on exam content outline. There's no other second material available, and you can't buy this one. You can't get it anywhere. So there's no second material available which is based on exam content outline. I have recorded these slides. Short recording, these are the ones I will share with you all. These are complete study material, but I cannot give you the slides, but I've done this recording, so you can just scan. It is and I would highly request you, please don't distribute. This is not meant for distribution. I've just recorded all the slides. You can just scan through, because the only way I can share it with you, I can't share the presentation, because recordings I can, and any which sessions are getting recorded. So when I have recorded, there's no audio in it. They're all just slides are recorded. And this way you can easily scan. There's a 6 or 7 seconds delay in every slide. So you can pause, read this, pause, read it. But again, this is the only way I could have shared this material with you. Please do not distribute. This is the only material which is as per exam content outline. So spend time on this one whenever you get time to study. These are all the entire 35 hours of training that we will be going through. I can only use these slides because that's what I'm supposed to use as per PMI. That's the restrictions we have on this one. So I will be sharing that. So that's on the exam con. So are we okay with the ECO part and the associated slides in a recorded way? I will be covering those slides, but I will share the recorded ones. I've recorded those slides, not because if you go have to see those things, then you have to watch complete 3.5 hours video. So I have recorded, so within 5 minutes, you can have the entire lesson. There are total 6 lessons. Within 5 minutes, you can watch the entire thing. You don't have to watch a 35-hour. Well, you can definitely watch to understand the discussion, but reading the slides can be done within watching like 5 minutes thing. Quick glance, that's exactly as per exam content outline. Are we okay with that so far? Just a quick check. Because that's the only way I could have shared it. I can't share it because that's not permitted. All right, quick one. Let's check this one here. Okay, pretty clear here. We will be quickly talking about this one also. So how about your examination type and questions? You will have a 230 minutes exam, which is like 3 hours and 50 minutes. 3 hours, 50 minutes questions is what you will be getting. Like the duration is like 230 minutes. Yeah, 3 hours, 50 minutes. Total of 180 questions will be asked. Out of 180 questions, you are only scored or assessed or ranked on 175 questions. 5 questions are called pre-test questions, but you don't know which one. So, well, for you, all 180 questions are important. But by the way, if you give those 5 questions correctly, answer it correctly or incorrectly, doesn't matter. But since you don't know which 5 questions, for you, all 180 questions will be like really important. So you have to answer this 180 questions in 230 minutes. Now, you will be taking this online like exam on PMI. Like, so when you can book the exam, you should go and take online one. Nowadays, they don't have the paper-based one, so forget about it. So how would you be giving this exam? First, when you start your exam from 0 question, like from first question till the 60 question, when you complete it, you'll get a prompt on your screen that you're entitled to take a 10 minutes optional break. If you want, take it. Please take it, because it will be very stressful sitting for 3 hours, 50 minutes. So first you complete first question till 60 question. You will get this option. Take the break. When you come back, question number 61 till 120. Again, you get an optional break option. Take the break, get refreshed, because sitting will be without a break will be a big like a torture. And then practically 121 question till 180 question. So you get 2 optional break in this exam. Okay, I'm coming to those questions. Like, so there is no passing score. Well, I'm going to come to that. Well, at that. So there is no passing score. PMI has never ever released a passing score. Nobody knows what's a passing score. You only get ranking. excellent. I'll be showing you those rankings also. So, and there is no negative marking. PMI never does a negative marking. But again, you don't get a passing score for this one. Having said that, what kind of questions you'll get? Multiple choice question, like you have option A, B, C, D, select the right one. You will also get a multiple response question. That means you get A, B, C, and D, and it says select 2 correct or select 3 correct, and you can get such questions. So multiple response means you'll have multiple correct answers. It'll say 2 correct or 3 correct. You have to select those. Matching is like the traditional one. We say like A, B, C, or D. Like say 1, 2, 3. Say we A with 2, C with 1, and we can with those. That's the matching thing. Hotspot questions are like images. You will see images for that. Like so, there's an image here. An image is the option. Second image is here. Third image is here. Fourth image is here. You have to select the right image, and that will be highlighted. That will be so. It's more of a hotspot question by clicking the image. Fill in the blanks, we know. So the different kind of questions you'll be getting. The 120, 180 questions will be a mix of all these types of questions you will get. That's what you have in there. And again, you only get, you should be taking this. Please keep this in mind whenever you go and write this. So there are questions, there could be questions right about the application process. I will be covering up those elements thing. But again, let's get the clarity. Is this okay and clear with everyone? The type of question, the duration, and the passing marks. No, there is no passing marks for here. Nitin, yes, please go ahead. Please, can you drop the message in the chat? How many questions should I? No questions. No, nobody knows. Nobody knows, Mr. Ibrahim. Nobody knows. Why? Because PMI has never released a pass percentage. You only get rank. The moment you give exam, you get a rank. Like, did you pass or not? Excellent. So we'll be talking about that. So, okay. Yeah, will be mock-up. So I'm just going to take you through all those elements, what we can do that. Out of the 100 test takers, how many? Well, did you know? Nobody knows. PMI never releases anything of that sort. So you don't never know what's the pass percentage. PMI has never ever released. If somebody tells you, well, this guy is bluffing. But I'll tell you what is to be done. I will tell you what needs to be like. What is tentatively? There's a material I'll be sharing. That's a good way to test. Are you ready to pass the exam? So I'll be talking about that. I'll be sharing that material also. It's a proctored one, 100% proctored one. It is a proctored exam. So somebody will be constantly watching you. And if you move your head here and there, we'll tell you not to do that. So it's a proctored one. You can take this exam at IMC Center. Yes, if you are close to it. Otherwise, see, no, not this PMP exam. No, you can't get this PMI. I'm talking the PMI exam. You cannot do at IMC. Why? Because they're designated centers which are there. Or you can take it from your home. Like, yeah, you can take. So you can book a Prometric center. There will be option of selecting a Prometric center, or you can do it from your home. Or yes, if you are close by to IMC center, you can give it there. So fill in the blanks questions. Well, there will be choices. Yeah. So practically, so there will be a simple, like one word kind of thing. So which will be clear. So you will not have a problem. So those fill in the blank options are available. Like, so you will be able to kind of look at it and type in there. That's it. Is it open to camera 100 like a proctored one? It's a 100% proctored one. Somebody is constantly watching you every single second. Forget about minute. Every single second. One person watching you throughout your exam. You can do it from your home, but while you're giving the exam, you must lock your room. If anybody steps in your room while you're giving the exam, you're disqualified. You cannot have a piece of paper in your room. Well, so when you book the exam, you will get a list of do's and don'ts. You cannot have anything on you in that room wherever you're giving the exam. No piece of paper, no book, nothing of that sort. You and your laptop. That's it. The 10 minutes break are extra. 10 minutes breaks are extra, over and above. Okay. So these are 6 lessons that we'll be learning. In the entire 35 hours program, the total of 6 lessons that we will be covering up. That 6 lessons for which I'll be sharing the recorded version. This 6 lessons covers your 35 hours of training, and this is again reacting on the only content which is written by PMI as per exam content outline. So please read them. You'll have an access to the recorded version. Check them out, because this is the best material that you can have, which is related to PMP exam. Now, pretty much, while you go through the presentation, I take you through presentation, Please watch out these symbols. If you see this symbol, it means we are talking about predictive. When you see the symbol, it means we are talking about agile. And when you see this symbol, it will be related to hybrid. So recognize and understand those symbols, we will be able to do that. Nitin, it happens. It happened with me. I do remember. Your internet get disconnected, you will be rebooked again. And yes, if internet gets disconnected, you will be rebooked again. Well, then you can't so there will be automatically fail a message, and you will be able to kind of rebook it without any extra cost. I'll talk about the cost and all right now, but yes, you can rebook without. So you can't continue if it gets disconnected. So wherever you go and a plan for exam, ideally take it at night, when people are sleeping, there's no noise, no disturbance, and have a very good, wherever you believe there's a good connection. If you have a problem, if you have a concern with your home net, when you're booking your exam, select a Prometric center. There are centers where you can book a Prometric center. You can go and give the exam there. Then it'll be taken. They will have good one. Waterfall. Predictive is waterfall. Yes. Okay. Jairam, previous slide. Okay, previous slide. Give me one quick second here. This one, right? You're talking about? These are 6 lessons we will be covering. I was talking about that. There's 6 lessons we'll be covering to cover up the 35 hours. The total of 6 lessons, for which I will be sharing the recorded slides with no audio in it. There's no audio because I've just recorded the slides. So because that's the only way I could have given it to you. Quick one here. Okay. And we're done. So let's get going. So some more. This is the presentation stuff. So I will, these are the 6 slides here. Agile is adaptive. Absolutely, yes. Agile is adaptive. Hybrid is mix, both. Predictive and agile, both. Waterfall is predictive, another name of predictive. Waterfall is another name of predictive. Another name of predictive one. Plan-driven, predictive, hybrid, waterfall are the same thing. So these are 6 lessons for which I have those recorded slides. I again reiterate, I can't share the presentation, but I will have those recorded slides shared, recorded version. And please do not distribute. But that's my humble request to everyone. A quick one here. Going to this few elements before we get going. Okay, so first thing first, there are people who have not been added to the WhatsApp group. I would request you to please make a note of this one link. That's it. Please save this link. Everyone, please save this link. This link is for the notes I will be sharing. So please keep this in mind. This is notes of the trainer, material I share with you. Not from IMC, it's not managed by IMC. So I will be sharing. Please save this link. It is going to remain as it is. Right now, there's nothing in it, in this link. I will be sharing it. And while we complete the session today itself, I will be sharing this link. So there's nothing in this link right now. It's all blank. So you will be able to download all the material from this link. So save this link, the notes one. Now, when you download this Excel file, you will be able to have all these links. This link is for recording. So this session is getting recorded. So you can access the recordings, and recordings generally take about 24 hours time. So while right now, which is Saturday, Sunday, you will not be able to get one. So today's recording will be available on Monday. Monday recording will be available on Tuesday, since it's a weekday batch. So you will always have a 24 hours delay. But where would you find the recording? This is the link. So when you download the link I have shared in the chat, that is the only link you got to keep. Why? If you keep that link, you download this Excel file, I will be sharing there. You will have all the links with you. You will have the link where you can find the recordings. You'll have link where you can find the exam preparation material. This is the link where you get exam preparation material that I will be sharing with you. And this is the thing. This is the link where all the notes are there. So I will be, because as the session goes on, I'll keep on sharing. But this one is the pure exam preparation material, which I'll be showing you right now what's in there. So before we get there, the batch schedule, pretty much we know what is that batch schedule. Let me quickly take you to the exam preparation material, which is in the downloadable link. So when you are able to download this Excel file, you will see this. So I'm sharing these files with you. These are all what you need practically for preparing yourself for PMP exam. There are so much of garbage in the market. Please don't go for that. It is not authentic and it's not created by PMI. First, Agile Practice Guide. These are to be studied, referred. I'm not going to pick them up. This is for you to study, understand, get concepts clear. Agile practice guide, again, reiterating, do not sit down and memorize. Do not make an effort to memorize. This is Agile practice guide. You can go and scan it. This is all about agile practices. Check them out whenever you get time. So I will be sharing like when you download my Excel file, you get all of this. That's PMBOK 7, Project Management Body of Knowledge, 7th version. That's PMBOK 7. Go and scan. Like these all books you have to study. You have to study. It's an extra study material I'm sharing with you because I don't want you to go and kind of try out here and there. But these are all content which is created by PMI. I would recommend you to just stick to that. This is PMP exam content outline, which is what we have here, and which pretty much I showed you. There is something called process group practice guide, which is here. Process group practice guide, which is also to be studied practically. These are all books you have to study and completely like in and out, scan them. Don't try to memorize them. Scan them, like read like a storybook, novel, do whatever you want, but you should study them. And let's come to the last part here. There's a book called Rita Mulke. There's no book in the market till date which can beat Rita Mulke. This is the best book. It's a complete exam preparation book. This is a question bank and the best till date. So anyone who has been passing PMP exam has always worked on Rita Mulke. So what it's generally seen that people who are able to score 70% correct in the Rita Mulke, the moment you start scoring 70%, you're ready to write the PMP exam. So, well, this is complete question bank. And if you read the book, it tells you, well, you should you should prepare yourself at least 3 times this book. So when you read this now, it'll tell you that you have to read this book 3 times before you kind of like say, okay, I'm ready. So PMP will demand a lot of training, lot of practice. So PMBOK 6 is retired, sir. PMBOK 6 is retired. So latest version is PMBOK 7. PMBOK 6 is retired. So this is the ultimate book. I don't want you to kind of go and try this and that. There is nothing better. So anyone who has passed PMP has 100% read Rita Mulke. Simple way, it just try to see, are you scoring 70%? And you're doing it. It's a complete question bank. The best book in the market. Well, practically. And then there are some question sets. These are the questions which we said like we get extra privilege from PMI. Well, there are certain clone questions PMI issues. Clone question that is given to only the institutions which are premium institutions of PMI. And these questions are given by PMI to our institution. So please prepare. It's just prepare them. So what should be the sequence? How to go through this? So you will have all these books too, but you have to read all of this. All of this. PMP exam needs time. So it's just not 35 hours. You will be spending good amount of money. It's a time. It's a one. Like practically because there's nothing beyond PMP certification till date in the PMI. So I would highly recommend spend time. Don't be in rush. That will be bad. So because the chance of failing will be very high in that case. So all in all, how to prepare for that? This is I have already written and just want to make sure that we're clear about them. So you complete your 35 hours of training. That's what you got to do. And then once you kind of complete this 35 hours of training, do scan through and get comfortable with the recorded slides because that's what we'll be covering. So do scan through those recorded slides again. Okay, what is that? I'll share the. So, well, I have shared this link. I will be sharing this Excel file. Please download this Excel file. This is the link for notes. That's it. So just download this Excel file for you to get link of all the links. Well, you have the links, you can download anything from that. Like because you need, let's just save this link that I've shared. But that's a link for the notes where you will get this Excel file. You get all the notes, all the links by default in there. So let's kind of quickly talk about what should be the process of preparing yourself, which has worked for everyone. And I don't want you to try hit and trial here, which is pretty much let's follow the formula, which is a working formula, a winning formula. During or after trading, please, there's a 8-page document called PMI Code of Ethics. Let me just see if I have it here. PMI Code of Ethics already, I think it should be there in the downloadable material. Yeah, it is there. So when you download, these are all the books I was showing you. There's a PMI Code of Ethics 8-page document. So you do get generally get a couple of questions from this 8-page document, which talk about code of ethics, like the principles, the values the project manager should have. So 8-page document, which is PMI Code of Ethics. Do check that out. So the first thing, while we're going through the training, I will be taking you through the presentations and we'll discuss. But parallelly, what you need to study is this first 8-page document. Finish this PMI Code of Ethics. It's all about principles, values of a project manager. Then start your storybook reading. That's what I'll say. Agile Practice Guide, read it. PIMBOK 7, read it. In the sequence. So I've written the sequence. Please follow the sequence. You will have it, like things will be better. Then process guide, and then Rita Mulki. The book will also tell you solve at least 3 times. And please do not just do it like that. Set a timer for yourself. Try to set a timer. If you're solving 20 questions, keep yourself 20 minutes. Try to challenge yourself, then try to solve, then with like 15 minutes. So this is more about race with time. PMP exam, a lot of people are not able to write complete questions also. They're not able to complete questions. So please get into the practice. Writing a PMP exam is more about the mindset, preparation of writing and taking the pressure for 3 hours, 50 minutes constantly at a place. And for that, practicing the question is more important. So do that, and please do with the time. Time yourself so that you are while you're giving the exam, you already have a habit of solving the questions clearly. Finally, when you're done, that Excel sheet I was showing you, which is the PMI questions, do solve that. Once I was showing the PMI question set, solve them also 3 times. That's all you got to. Don't try fancy things. Don't go for quantity. This is all what you need, because these are all relevant. These are all reliable. Either created by PMI or has been proven time and again globally, like Rita Mulki. There's nothing better. So at least I won't recommend anything else laying your hands on. Try to stick to the quality. Try to focus on understanding the content, because if you look at the garbage, there is so much of garbage on internet, and I would not, I don't rely on them, and I would not recommend knowing the PMI practices, because you got to understand. I may have done projects, but I have to align my thought process how PMI looks at project. So that's how I have to answer those questions. So I will try to relate and read the material, which is going to be relatable with PMI. I will be sharing it by the end of the day today itself while we in the session, sir. I will be sharing it, but towards the end. Okay, quick one, last piece here, which before we'll kind of talk about this. Once we're done with the training, please register yourself on this website, pmi.org. There is a process of filling application, PMI application, how to fill it. I would recommend, don't get into this right now. It's not thing to be worried about right now. First, complete your training. This is when you're ready for giving the exam. So do fill in the application. Well, how do you fill the application? There is a YouTube video I've shared here. Watch this, understand what is the procedure of filling the application. I will share a sample application also so that you have an idea how to do it. And well, there was a question, what if my application, because some applications randomly, about 5% application gets audited. Those participants will be they will be getting a notification from PMI that you need to share the proof of your experience or your how that is done. That is also pretty much explained. After watching these 2 videos, you'll have absolutely no question how to fill the application and how do you justify to PMI your experience also. It is crystal clear. And I will share a sample application so that you have an idea. But this has to be done after the training is over, when you're ready to write the PMP exam. And still, when you do that, I recommend not to fill the application directly. Write it in a Word format, share it with me. I review all those applications. I will make suggest those corrections. Once we're done, you can fill the application and wait for the approval. Generally, you apply. So we've seen the people who have not been getting approval. They have, after those corrections and adjustments, we have been able to do that. So once your application is approved, then take the PMI membership and then book the exam at a discounted rate. So why you should take a PMI membership? This is why. If you don't take PMI membership for writing the PMP exam, your examination fee will be $555 USD. if you don't have membership, and if somebody is not able to pass, the re-examination fee is 375 USD. That's in case you're not a PMI member. If you take a PMI membership, you have to pay $129 plus $10 joining fee. That means you will pay $139. After $139, you will have access to PMI website, like your portal, where you can download every material from PMI, all the material except those slides and all, but you will get all the books on like from PMI. What it does is that you will get your PMI exam fee will get discounted. Instead of paying 555, now you'll pay only 405. Now, if you do the maths, you paid 139 and you paid 405. How much you paying in total? 544. If you take membership, you get 544. You pay 544 in total. If you don't take membership, you pay 555. What's the fun of not taking a membership? You're saving money here. If you don't take membership, pay 555. Here you're paying less and you're getting the membership and you're getting all the access to material. And on top of it, people who are members, if in case they are not able to pass, their re-exam fee is also less, 275. So these are typically, but this is to be done after the training. Pretty much you get like, but pretty much you have all these details. And if you, in case you need some assistance, you can always touch base with your IMC point of contact and they will be able to help you. Last piece I want to again reiterate, PMI never gives the score. After within 1 year of this training, pretty much you have to get this job done. We'll be taking a break, like just quick 1 minute here. Okay, I will be reviewing this this thing. Okay, quick one. Let's do one thing. I guess it's already have exceeded the time. I guess, yeah. Let's take a 30 minutes break. We'll come back. So we take 30 minutes break. I've already exceeded 6 minutes. Please take your breaks. I don't want people to missing your prayer time. So please, let's connect in 30 minutes from now. A couple of meetings left over, and we'll talk about it. Generally, no, it's an annual one. Let's take the break. We'll connect in 30 minutes from now. And after that, we'll start the trainings. Pretty much. After discussing a couple of things. Please take your breaks. 30 minutes. As per your respective time zone, we will resume right after 30 minutes. It never ever gives you a score and there's never a negative marking. You only get a rated, like grading instantly. So the moment you complete exam, you know, are you a PMP or you're not instantly. So you will get a sort of score like an above target, on target, below target, or needs improvement. So the first two are pass. Well, definitely. If somebody gets below target, that means you sort of missed out by a small margin, but it's just about preparing yourself again, you'll be back. But needs improvement one, pretty much need to sit down and like there's something seriously wrong with your understanding. You have to redo everything. So again, fortunately, people have been following this practice, been getting above target. So, well, it is something which is working. I don't want to change a working formula, a formula which is successful, which is working for everyone. So please do not, let's try to stick to what it is target. And so primarily, see, when you do, how do we get to know we're ready? It's more about, Mr. Faiz, is about that. How do we know we are ready about that? So it doesn't like, so this it's just, well, above target or non-target will just, it's more about telling you how well you performed. But again, you get a PMP certification. Bottom line, that's what matters. So again, anyone who is below target, pretty much it's not did not pass. So we're fortunate, at least I can say I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of people passing above target, and which is great job. Feels good that well, it worked. So it's it will sort of help you everyone. Like, so I would rather request everyone, let's try to follow the process, because follow the material which is given by the PMI. because it's the examination that you're going to write is about PMI's exam. So we have to align our thought process with PMI. We have to study the material, which is PMI. Apart an entire thing, the only thing which is non-PMI is this. Honestly, the only thing is this is Rita Mulki, because this is since the day probably PMI, PMP exams are happening. Rita Mulki is there. This book has been serving and helping all the PMP. So there's, I would say, nobody in the world who would have passed the PMP exam and has not done Rita Mulki. It's an absolutely incredible book, complete question bank, and I would say the go-to material. But this should come in the end. It's not a just don't start open, because you will be able to download all of it. Don't just start opening up these and just start solving it right now. Well, please follow the process, get the concept clear, and then practice this. The book, when you start reading book, it will say you have to solve this book 3 times. The book will tell you, well, the author tells you that you have to do it 3 times to get a complete understanding how to solve these questions. So please follow the procedure. So all this by default, you download Excel sheet. By the end of the sheet, you get everything here. Last thing that I would really want to talk about is one thing. Well, just one second. So I will share all this material. Additionally, I'm going to be sharing. So I've said apart from this downloadable material, I will be sharing those recorded slides, and I will be sharing this additional material also. Let me just quickly show you. So here are questions which are created by PMI. Again, I don't use anything which is not non-PMI. So these questions are created by PMI for every lessons, the lesson 1, lesson 2, 6 lessons. So these are lesson-wise questions. I will share only the questions. You have time, so please solve them. Even though before we have studied them, I want you to try solve them. Make a note of that. That's a good practice to do that. Please document somewhere. Well, make a fresh, like a notebook for yourself, where you can write down lesson number 1, question 1. What is the answer? Let's listen to what's the. Make a note of that. Try if you can do it over the weekend, because then lesson number 1, when we kind of complete, I want you to re-attempt this. So before we start getting into this, so I would want you to go and try this first before you have even studied it. So just try to understand your understanding of PMI's type of question. So first, this all has 30 different pages. Try to scan, go through them, solve this, make a note of it. What is your answer even before you've gone for the training? And after we complete that particular lesson, redo that section once again and see, has your answer changed? Once you complete this, I will also share, not right now, because I want you to first try it yourself. Before we have studied it, I want you to solve all these questions, make a note of those answers, and as and when we complete lesson 1, try to do lesson 1 again and see, is there a change? Do a lesson 2 again. So as and when we keep moving lesson wise, please keep trying them again to see, is there a change in my understanding to answer this question? And finally, then I will release the answer, not now, by the end. These are all the questions for all the. So I would want you to go and try them. So first, before I release those answers. So that's so I will be sharing the slide recordings. Apart from the downloadable material, you will have these slide recordings, which I was talking about, and additionally, these process group questions. Answer key, I will not be releasing until the end. So I want you to try them out. These are lesson-wise questions. So as we keep trying, keep practicing them. So that is more from the preparation perspective. I said, you don't have to go anywhere outside to go and fetch any other material for your preparation. What you're going to be doing is more than enough. Try to focus on quality, because this is it. Anything outside, I'll say garbage. So please don't get into it. Try and stick to what is there, which is official, PMI related. I would not recommend, apart from Rita Mulki, which is non-PMI material, apart from Rita Mulki, I would not recommend that. Any which ways, because it is not PMI material. That's the only thing. We have to align ourselves as PMI says what is PMP. Now, quick one here. A lot of us may not have, like some people may have actually dealt a project or predictive. Some people would have done an agile project. But all in all, whenever we talk about predictive of agile, I like see some people, even if they have done a part, they've been a part of a project, they may not be a project manager. So they have not seen a complete structure how a project manager works in a project, in a predictive world, or for that matter, in agile world. So all in all, today's discussion is all about making sure I'm not going to start the presentation today. Presentations will start from Monday only. Today's concept was to just make sure that we have clarity about all these things we have discussed till now, and to develop the basic understanding. As I said, the questions will not be direct, it'll be all scenario based. So it is going to test your understanding as a project manager. How would you behave? For that, we have to understand the life cycle, the journey, how a project works in a predictive world, how a project works in agile world. So I will be sharing these like couple of elements. First, let me show you here. This is the predictive, the PMBOK 7 we talked about. This is how a complete project manager, like the life cycle, what a project manager lives, all the process thing that we deal with in a predictive project. So we have to understand how this template works, and having that understanding how this is written, what happens first, what happens second, what is the linkage between different processes here. That is required for you to answer those questions. So somebody who is already a project manager would know it. But if you have been just handling a portion of it, it could be difficult. So I will quickly do a very quick recap, like a sort of give a story or an overview of how these things work. I have written a complete draft, how this life cycle is done. I will share this. I want you to read this. This is the life cycle, how a predictive works. A project manager starts the project and ends the project. So I want you to understand this is a crash course for entire predictive. This is a complete crash course, a story that you need to read, understand, and get a sort of a picture. So when I know, okay, I have a fair bit of idea how a project in a predictive will start and how it will end. So I will quickly, so as I said, I will not be going into presentation today. I will quickly scan through like this document, which is predictive one, which is the typical part of it. And I'll parallelly take you through this slide. So this present. So we have a complete picture and understanding how a predictive project will start and end. And then we'll talk about agile framework, how an agile work happens. And then pretty much I think I have a video I can share with you all. Give me one quick second, Baj. Did I share one? I guess. 1 second here. Yeah, give me one quick second here. So we'll first of all, let's start with the predictive one. We'll first understand how a predictive project works. I'll just scan through these notes so that we have clarity, because even if we have handled a complete project as a project manager, definitely we'll have an answer about that. If we handle a portion of it, we still need to get that clarity of how this entire framework. So I'm going to match these notes. So I want you to have a complete understanding of these notes from beginning till the end, so that you have, we'll talk about Scrum, Mr. Yusuf, we'll get to the Scrum part. Well, that is related to agile, but we'll talk about first predictive. So the concept of a life cycle of a predictive project is clear to us. Let's kind of check. This document is meant for this Word file that I'm talking about. This is meant for understanding how this predictive works. First thing first, let's talk about predictive cycle. And when we complete this, we'll quickly talk about agile. So today's job is just to kind of have that understanding develop, because that is what is required for answering those questions. So in predictive world, we have 10 knowledge areas, which we have as a project manager, we got to handle. A, integration. B, we have to understand how to define the scope of the project, how to plan the timeline, the schedule, manage the cost, manage quality, resource management, communication management, risk management, procurement management, stakeholder management. These are called 10 knowledge areas. Now, while the project works, whenever a predictive project is carried out, it goes through 5 process groups. These are process groups. Every predictive project will go through these 5 process groups. What are these process groups? And whenever project is started, first you initiate a project. So you start a project, that's initiation phase. Once you start a project, you will have to plan because it's plan driven. Predictive is all about planning and then executing the plan. So intensive. So they are like when you see numbers here, 2 written, we'll talk about what is 2, but we'll get to 4 now. Look at this. When you move from this initiation, a project has been initiated, means approved. You start the planning because you have to work as per the plan. So intensive planning is done. So when you planned it, you go about executing the plan. Whatever you plan, let's start doing the job. So doing the job is the execution part. While you're doing the job, you are constantly monitoring and controlling the execution. Because you're doing the job, well, are you doing it right or not? That has to be constantly monitored and controlled. So this is not happening in linear fashion. It's not that first you do execute and then you monitor and control. No. While you're executing, at the same time, you're also monitoring and controlling also, because you have to correct it. If it's not right, you have to correct it. So it's together. I'm coming. I just said, please just. I said that I will come to those numbers also. Let's focus on the element. I will come to those numbers also. For now, so keep this in mind. These are not happening in a linear fashion. It's not first we complete all execution, then we complete. No, that's not going to happen. While you're executing, you're also monitoring and controlling at the same time. So these 2 things will happen. These 2 processes will happen at the same time. So while I'm doing the job, it's quite possible I may not be on target. My project may get delayed. So I have to monitor and control. How do I know? Monitor and I'm late, so I have to control it. So execution and monitoring controlling happen at the same time. So when you have completed all the planned work, your project will be closed. So 5 process groups which will be carried out. In every predictive project we're dealing with, there'll be 5 process groups. Now coming to those numbers. In completing this entire process, like going through this 5 process group, we will be dealing with 49 process. And what those 49 processes are, these are given here. So in case of initiation, there are 2 processes. One is called project charter. Second is called identification of stakeholder. So 2 processes will be a part of initiation. Once you complete these 2 processes, our initiation job is complete. In case of planning, there are 24 processes which are done. So as a project management plan is 1 process, scope management plan, collect requirement, define scope, WBS, 4 process here. So in every stage, there are some processes. So in total, in the planning, there are 24 processes. The heavyweight here is planning. As a predictive project manager, this is the real project management stuff. Practically, if you understand planning, the rest, everything is cakewalk. Absolute work which is needed is this section, because it's predictive is all plan driven. Because whatever you have planned, that's what you're executing. In execution, you've got 10 processes and distributed differently. And in monitoring and controlling, you've got 12 process, 1. So now you understand what is 1, 2. So if you add them together, there will be a total of 49 process. In case of predictive, in doing a predictive project, the total 49 process, and this is how it's distributed. All in all, how this 49 processes are carried out, well, that is what we need to understand. The life cycle, how a predictive project will start and how it will end. This document, the Word file I'm talking about, this document gives you a complete picture of how a predictive project will work. We're not getting into detail right now. See, this all I'm talking about. These are all these numbers. Yeah, so the numbers are the count of process, basically, count of processes we'll be dealing with. So while we talk about, so we're not getting into detail. I said today is more about simply at least giving you a story so that we're clear about the life cycle. So when we have that understanding, it will be easier for us to understand the content also, because the presentation will not teach you how to do the project. Presentation expect that you are a project manager and you know how it works. So this exercise is just to make sure, because you got people from different mixed backgrounds and people who may have seen everything. Some people may have seen some part of it. So that's why we're trying to make sure that at least the story is clear and we have a complete picture in front of us. So first, let's quickly scan through this document. 4-page document, and I want you to memorize this one. At least I want you to memorize. Story, I want you to memorize. The clarity has to be there about how it works. There is always a business analyst. Again, we are not getting into detail. The entire training is about the details, but at least know the story. A business analyst will always be there, who is going to sit down with the key stakeholders, leadership team, and will do a needs assessment to start a project. Well, do we need to start a project? I just can't start a project because I feel like starting a project. So we like to evaluate project A, project B, project C. So they will sort of look at different project and they will do evaluation. So they will sort of do a needs assessment. Who will do it? Business analyst. We are no longer nowhere in picture. Please keep this in mind. At this till the time project gets approved, you are not in the picture. So based on multiple factors, they will sort of do needs assessment. What are those multiple factors? We call something called EEF. EEF stands for Enterprise Environmental Factors. Please get used to these terminologies. Get used to the abbreviation also, because in the examination question, you might be simply given abbreviation or complete also. So what do you mean by enterprise environmental factors? There are two types of enterprise environmental factors, internal and external. And this job has been done by leadership team, executive, the sponsors, the business analysts. These people are sitting and having a planning done. So internal factors are what? Company policies, the kind of skill set we have got, the company, like for that matter, the company culture, the location where we're in. These are all internal to the company. So whatever, like whichever area, the constraints the company is working with, it's internal to the company. So like, for example, if I say the hiring policy we have, the salary wages that we hire, the kind of locality we are in, the social condition, practically the kind of culture that we have created within the company. This is a enterprise environmental factor, which is internal to the company. But there are certain external factors also, which are external to the company, which is all about the social environment within probably the government regulations, or probably an act of war, which is not in my control. So those are called external factors, which are where we as a company will not have a control over them. They're outside our domain. So EEF could be a reason. These are risk factors. They could be a reason why a project can be started. So they would have discussed it. This term, OPA, is a very critical term. This will be repeated throughout the presentation. OPA, Organizational Process Asset. What is this OPA? Historical projects done. So people who are, wherever projects are done, companies, the project managers create something called lessons learned document. So as a project manager, when you doing your job, you will prepare your lessons learned document, which are the things that you want to memorize, things which are worthy noting, so that you will be able to, whatever you learn today, it will help you to ensure that you don't make that mistake in the future. So you try to keep making a note of lessons learned during the project. And when the project is complete, you share it with the company's project management office. We'll talk about what is PMO. So project management office is the governing body within the company which manages all the project. So this PMO will be like owner of all the historical projects. Now your project, when you want to start a project, you can always go to PMO and say, okay, we want similar projects done in the past. So it will be a good reference for me to look at what previous project managers have gone through, what were the challenges, how they did it. So we can always get this one. So that is called OPA. So OPA will have companies, procedures, policies, documents, everything, the templates, because you can't customize your own, you can't create your own template, start using. Company has a standard template. Everyone would have a different template. There is no standard template for any project management tool. So every company tries to customize. So for a particular company, these documentation will be standard and will be given by project management office. We call them OPMO, project management office. So this OPA will also be with them. They have a master database of all the lessons learned, historical, all projects done. That's called lessons learned repository, where even your project, after you complete, it will go and merge into the master database lessons learned repository. So OPA term has to be clear. Apart from that, there's something called external. Okay, give me a quick question, but isn't corporate level and not just PMO department? Well, when they are having a discussion, we can look at OPAs to discuss. The discussion is happening at a corporate level, but were they referring to the OPAs also? Because when you're doing a project, these people will be accessing and looking at all those projects also. You will, while you're doing the project, you will access OPA also. OPA is basically company policies. Those can guide you. I don't have access to the...
I remember he picked up his phone. He started speaking in a weird language ever, and I'm like, what is this?
Just put everyone back on mute now. Just allow me one quick second. Thank you. I've got the rights now. So I can quickly thank you for getting it done. Let me just share it again. 1 second. Okay, perfect. So all these discussions are happening at the corporate level, but primarily they're also referring to the organizational policies, procedures. Well, while you're planning for all this, you look at a complete picture. So there will be, so these terms, we should be able to understand what are OPA, basically historical projects done, the company policies, procedures, documentation, trackers, whatever the company is using, that's OPA. They will also be having a discussion based on the risk factors, and they will be using something called prompt list. Now, what do we call as prompt list? Prompt lists are the ways you have a meaningful, structured discussion for risk that may happen. So PESTEL is used for as a prompt list. TCOP is used. BUCA is used. SWOT analysis is very common. So let me quickly show you this. Well, I will put the link also in this one. So let me just type in PESTEL, TCOP, BUCA. I'm just going to copy paste, like it's very early, and we just will talk about this. Have a look at these things. So when you discuss about the risk factors, you can discuss risk factors related to political. This is PESTEL. Well, like what some ads have started in, which is, oh goodness, ad. Let me just close that. Okay. Political, economic, social, technological, legal, environment. So we discuss with the team and look at the risk factors probably which are related to this. Or I can use a TCOP. I can use a VUCA. So there are different ways of having a structured brainstorming to talk about what could be the potential risk, technical risk, environmental risk. So it's a way to categorize and have a discussion. So I'm going to copy this link and paste it here. Do check them out. So these are called prompt list. But rather than having just a random discussion, okay, let's discuss risk factor, it's going to give you a more structured way of having a discussion, which we have this called prompt list. So prompt lists are way of having a good discussion, easy, structured discussion. So the team would sort of discuss, and all that job was done. A needs document is created. A needs assessment is done, where they create something called business. Business documents are created now. What business documents? They are called business case. Now, who creates business case? You know. It is the business analyst. It is the sponsor. It is the leadership. Some sponsor will sit down with the business analyst, and they will try to, after they have done the needs assessment, there is a need of doing a project. We must do it. There's a risk factor. We must take this into consideration. Otherwise, there'll be a problem. So they would create a need. They'll understand there is a need. And to support that need, they will create business documents. And what those business, first will be a business case. Business case is all about economic feasibility. Why should you do this project? What will be the benefit? Economic feasibility, money. Bottom line, everything boils down to money. What's the worth? Why should we be doing it? And all in all, will be quantified based on the values called terms called net present value, IRR, like return on investment, payback period. And please keep this in mind. We don't perform any of these. This job is done by a business analyst. And in the exam also, you do not have to calculate anything like you will not be required to do any of these calculations. So nothing of because we are not the financial experts. So technically this job is done by the BA, business analyst. They will do it. And we go through presentation also, they will say, but you should know what it means. There are some financial calculation metrics. We should know what it means. So when these guys talk about it, it does not sound like an alien term to you. So yes, we should know what it means. That's what you got to keep in mind. And that's why it's 8%. Remember the 8% business acumen, we should know what is it. But it's not that it's my job to do it, but it should not sound like, okay, well, I'm sitting and I have no idea what these guys are talking. So NPV, net present value, internal rate of return, return on investment, payback period, you should know. And these are financial terms to understand why should we do this. In the end, money, profit, bottom line. Okay, for any project, B team has to be there. Well, bottom line, okay, yeah. Just to answer this question, if we do not have a business analytics team, it's possible. If you do not have a business analytics team in a particular company, this job will be performed by the finance department. Whichever company's finance department will be there, they will end up doing the job of BA. That's how it happens. And the document also, when you go through presentation, you will see either finance or BA, preferably BA, because that's the actual job. If you don't have it, then do a finance. While they create this business case, they also prepare something called benefits management plan. What is benefits management plan? See, business case tells you the economic feasibility. You do this, this will you get. That's it. Benefits management plan tells you short-term benefits and even long-term benefits, and the benefits which you can get even after the project is completed. even after project is done, what can still be benefited from this one. So why should you go and do this project? Because there can be certain benefits which I will still be able to get once this project is closed. Let me give you a quick example. One example, because we're just doing an overview here. Like I do a construction project. I did some sort of construction job done. Once my project is gone, obviously I've got my money. But what is a benefits management plan? I also get a job like from the customer to do the interior designing. But that was not a part of me. Well, the interior designing job is a benefits management plan for me, which is over and above this project management stuff. For example, I'm designing and developing a website for or an application for a client. Well, job done, I got paid. Now, after that, I also get maintenance job. Well, to continue maintaining the website, bottom line, that's a benefit. So that's extra add-on benefit, which is one more reason you should do this project. So this is also done by them, which helps us to understand why management picked up a project. A, the business case, and B, the benefits management plan. Now, if this entire story, what these guys have cooked up, if it makes sense by the leadership and executive teams, they will obviously, board of directors will sit and they'll finally, if it gets approved, then technically your job is going to come in. Acceptance of this business case will lead to the project charter. And project charter is when that officially project is going to get started. So then you need a guy who is supposed to do the job. And that's where our role of project manager comes into picture. So here is when the project manager comes, initiation phase. That's where we have come up to this part, like project charter. This all story has happened before that. So that's where we say the business acumen is before that. Is it okay and clear so far? The story, just want to make sure that we have a story clear to us. Because we may not, as one single person, we may not be doing all of it. Some we may be doing in bits and pieces. So let's start this one. In the initiation part, project charter is drafted by the sponsor and assigned to the project manager. So this guy will find you, okay, you are the project manager. This is a project charter. We want you to do this project. So you are appointed as a project manager. Now, what you do here as a project manager, my job will be to do team formation. I have to create a team to deliver this project. So based on the type of project, I will be selecting a team, a different kind of project will require, like depending on the kind of job we are doing, we'll have the relevant skill set picked up. And that will lead to something called team charter creation. When you have the team selected, you will create team charter creation, and that team charter will have what roles and responsibilities of different team members, who will do what will be the ground rules, how the team will be doing. And this team charter is created by the team. So you select the team, you do the team formation, and now everyone gets together and we prepare a common team charter. This team charter will work as a guideline for the team. Well, what is there in the team charter? What are the roles and responsibilities of sponsor? What are roles and responsibilities of project manager? What are roles and responsibilities of the team members? And then it talks about the ground rules, the office reporting timing, of the acceptable behavior. If there is a problem, a conflict arises, how that conflict will be solved, whose decision will be final, who will have rights to share confidential information. Everything is documented and agreed and prepared by the team. That's how you do it. A quick one. Short-term benefits and long-term benefits of the project. Well, while whatever you're doing the project, well, we're doing the project as a current project. That's my benefit. What I'm talking about long-term is what we will be getting even after completing the project. Short-term is pretty much what I'm talking about. The project is done, job done. That's the money I'm getting it. But long-term, probably the ones which I'm talking about, like on a recurring basis, I may still be getting some benefits on like probably next 2 or 3 years. So we will be getting those coming, the additional one. And thank you, AJ, for kind of clarifying that one. Racy, no, not here, not here. It will not be created here. It will be done. So we'll talk about communication. Yes, AJ, you're absolutely correct about that. It'll come in communication, not right now. So team charter, if you just got the people right now, you want to give them roles, responsibilities, and all that job. Bottom line, that job is done. Let's talk about this. So this is the process number 1 we talked about. This leads to identification of stakeholder. And what is the definition of stakeholder? Definition of stakeholder is anyone who is involved in the project, who is doing the job in the project, is a stakeholder, but anyone who's getting positively or negatively impacted by the project is also a stakeholder. So anyone who's getting positively or negatively, please keep this in mind, that will be stakeholder. So we try to identify all the relevant stakeholders related to the project and identification of stakeholder is done here at this stage. So when you got your project teams created, you try to find out all the relevant stakeholders who have anything to do with project or will be impacted by the project. And what you do is you create stakeholder register. A stakeholder register is more of a document where you have all details captured by for the stakeholder, like name of the stakeholder, designation of stakeholder, what is the role of the stakeholder, what are the expectations we have from that stakeholder, what expectations the stakeholder has from us. How do you classify the stakeholder? Is this guy your supporter? Is this guy neutral? Is this guy like probably like a resistor who's not like who's opposite, is not in favor of you? So you also classify that in a we'll see a sample of stakeholder register as we go forward. So stakeholder register is just a documentation we do for identified stakeholder. We want to know who they are, where they belong to, and all that details. Every detail which is relevant for us will be done. Is stakeholder is approver of the project? No, stakeholder definition have to be kept in mind. Stakeholder is anyone, everyone in the project is a stakeholder. Generally, the meaning, generally we say stakeholder is the one who's an approver. No, sponsor is the approver. Stakeholder means everyone involved, even a labor is a stakeholder. When I'm doing a construction site, a labor is a stakeholder. So please keep this in mind. Stakeholder meaning is anyone who's doing the job in the project is a stakeholder, or anyone who is getting impacted positively or negatively is also stakeholder. So stakeholder technically generally used as a leadership. No, stakeholder is anyone involved or being impacted. Having said that, sponsor is the one who is approver. So we'll got to keep that in mind. It's nothing to do with us. So stakeholder is not the approver. Approvers are also stakeholder, but like all stakeholders are not approver. That we got to keep in mind. Okay, quick one. So we're done with this identification part. We will go to the heavyweight part. This is the most important, most critical, and we have to get crystal clear understanding of this one. Because if you understand this, trust you understand predictive. This is the core area. Let's talk about this. Planning process group. Well, what do we do here? First layer, if you see, I have highlighted green. This layer is integration layer. Please keep this in mind. Like always keep that in mind. This layer job is only and only performed by project manager. This task is not given by project manager. You can't delegate. You can't tell your team members, okay, do this job. No, everything that you see here will be performed by project manager. You can still have your people working with you, but responsibility, the complete task ownership is yours. So first layer, the green layer, let's leave it for now. We'll understand why. Integration, let's park it here. It says first you have to do the scope management part. So we'll just move to the scope. Let's talk about this. Scope is what you do first. Since you have to go and deal with this project, you have to get the project done. I need to collect the requirements from the customer. So customers have certain things to be job to be done, whatever project you're doing. So you need to collect requirements. So that's my first process. Says scope management plan has to be created. Okay, please keep this in mind. Every time you will see a plan, scope management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, everywhere plan. This plan is no task. Wherever you see plan is a document. Plan is a document which tells you what is my company policy, how to do that job. That's it. This is a set of guidelines, rules, regulations, basically methods that we follow. What is that company expects, the company's policies expects us to do. So, well, if I'm doing a scope management plan, what it tells you, how in my company, because I'm doing the project within this company, how do we expect to do this scoping? So what are the methods and techniques to collect the requirements? What are the methods and techniques to do or define the scope? So it has a set of guidelines only. So scope management plan is nothing but a set of guidelines. Schedule management plan has nothing. There's no task. It's just a set of guidelines. So all the plans are guidelines here, which tells you how to do that job in that process. So actual job is the collecting requirement. So if I have to start my project, I have to collect requirement from the customer. And based on whatever customer requirements are given, we have something called requirement management plan. Based on this requirement management plan, we end up collecting requirements. So whatever requirement management plan tells you how to collect requirement, because that is again a plan. So the requirement management plan tells you within this company, what is the procedure of collecting requirement? Should you be having a face-to-face interview? Should you do a survey? Should you probably do multiple things together? Well, should you document on a piece of paper or some electronic version? Bottom line, how to do has been explained in the requirement. So based on that, we collect the requirement. Once these requirements are captured, whatever, like a piece of paper, electronic format, whatever, the documents, whatever documents you have captured, you will create something called RTM. Please keep this in mind. Abbreviations will also have to be kept in mind. RTM, Requirement Traceability Matrix. This is meant for the customer, not for us. Requirement Traceability Matrix is a template because you captured requirement. You need to make sure you have some document which customer can come back, say after 3 months, customer comes back one day and says, okay, what's happening on my project? Let me see. So I can't show this guy the detailed stuff. I can show him RTM, Requirement Traceability Matrix. As the word says, trace the requirements. What is the status? So this RTM is more of a live document which tells you what is the current status of each requirement. Say requirement A, 30% completed. Requirement B, say 80% completed. Requirement C, 10% completed. So requirement traceability matrix will help me to quickly get a glance of what is the current status of all the customer requirements. So customer will come back and be able to check the status of every requirement customer has given here. Has it been done or not? Okay, is it? No, RFPs are very different. No, not RFPs. We'll talk about the RFPs and all will come in there. This is not RFP, just the requirement. So I will sit down, project has been done. I sit down with the customer face to face. You're my customer. I sit in front of you and ask you, okay, sir, I will have to design your house. Okay, deliverables. Yes, so not like just talk about. So I ask you, what is that you want? Like what all you want? So you say, okay, my requirements are, I need a 2-bedroom hall kitchen in the ground floor. A 2-bedroom hall kitchen on the first floor. I need a modular kitchen. In modular kitchen, like I need these additional details. In one of the kitchen is for my, like one of the room is for my kids. I need so and so probably theme room. Like I have a daughter. She's a BTS fan, so I need a BTS kind of theme. Well, my son is. Well, I will give my requirement like a layman language. I'm giving you my requirements. That's where I will be able to trace my requirement. Tomorrow, customer will come back and say, okay, what's happening to it? So I need an RTM for the customer to come back and check at any point in time. So which document customer can come back and audit is RTM. Get that clear one. Is it okay and clear? Quick check. Before we proceed further, just want to move one by one because this is a very, very important element. Okay, perfect. Let's move ahead then. So when you collected requirements, these are from customer language. These are not the technical stuff. Well, we have to break it down. This work cannot be, customer may have given a language like, okay, I need a modular kitchen. Well, that modular kitchen you need to know what are the details, every single bit, what you need to do to make a modular kitchen. You're saying, okay, wooden flooring, but wooden flooring means a lot of things to be kept in mind. What kind of material, what kind of finish, and got a lot of things. So you have to go ahead and kind of sit with your team and do a detailed discussion. We have your RTM, all the requirements are collected here. So you will be kind of, and you can give it to the customer. Yes, RTM, you can give it to them to fill it up. Absolutely. Do whatever your bottom line, you have to create it. You can sit down with the customer, you fill it up together. Bottom line, all I need is a documentation because tomorrow the customer is going to ask me same thing. Exactly, because what is happening. So I will have a document which was created by us together. Now I need to break down every requirement detail. Like you talk about modular kitchen. Okay, let's see what all you have to do in modular kitchen. You have a wooden flooring. So my team, I have to sit down with the team. So project manager and the team, not the customer. Customer is gone. The job is over. Now I'll sit down with my team and sit down with every requirement. Pick up one requirement, do a complete detailed analysis of that requirement. Oh, have we done it before or not? Well, you're talking about wooden flooring. Do we have experience of doing wooden flooring? Yes or no? We'll have to discuss it with the team. Well, if we have not done it, then practically, do we have to hire from somebody from outside? Then you have to involve the procurement team. They will get somebody from outside. Or is it something which is very easy? We can learn instantly. We can learn quickly and deliver it. So the team has to sit down and do a detailed analysis of every requirement. So what you do here is, in order to create this overall, like every single element, you end up kind of detail every single element here. And you create something called project scope statement. Project scope statement is a complete, a massive document, like absolutely massive document, because every requirement would have been detailed to the finest level because you want to know all the work that you have to do. So project scope statement has every single work that needs to be done in order to complete the requirements, all the requirements given. Okay, just a quick second here. The stakeholder register is a part of overall project plan. Stakeholder register is a separate document, not part of project plan. It's a previous one. So stakeholder register got created and we asking these questions from the stakeholders. It is not a part of project plan. A stakeholder register got created based on which we are going to. So it is after you have stakeholder register, that's when you're moving on to the next one. And stakeholder register will come and will be updated. It's not fixed because your stakeholders will change. You will add new, you remove. Bottom line, that's an ongoing thing. Can we describe it as scope of work? That scope of work is happening. Yes, absolutely, Mr. Mohammed. You're right about that. So scope of work is what we want here. So team is the one doing the detailed scoping. So project scope statement is getting created. Absolutely correct about it. And that's what the team does. So when you have this collected requirement, you sit down with the team and you define this, you create the scope of work. So define the scope. You correctly mentioned. So the project scope statement is created. When you say scope of work, the team creates a project scope statement. Understand the term, memorize the term, because while you're doing the scope, the team creates a statement called project scope statement, in short, PSS. This is created, and this document has every single requirement of the customer detailed. Every single thing has been detailed. Now, every requirement that you have here, we need to have an acceptance criteria for those requirements. So all this, every single requirement you have, because tomorrow your team has to start working on those requirements. Your team can't just work on anything just like that. So you have to keep in mind, my customer, like tomorrow, if I do a job and customer says, sorry, I don't like it. I don't want that to happen. So we'll have to have a customer acceptance here. So an acceptance criteria, please keep this in mind. This word will repeat probably hundreds of times in the entire presentation. An acceptance criteria is created, or rather negotiated with the customer. Customers will always be greedy. They would want more. And you will negotiate. No, this is not possible. So every requirement customer will say, well, I need this, I need this. Acceptance criteria is more of a quality checklist. A quality checklist, which we, as like I say, project manager, will sit down with the customer and negotiate every requirement. This is what you want. What are the criteria? Because tomorrow you'll come back and see whether this is done or not. So I need to know what my team needs to focus on. So for everything, you'll have to create a list of that acceptance criteria, and that will be agreed with the customer. Sponsor is the one who will approve everything. So an acceptance criteria is the one which we will sit down, negotiate, finally agree mutually. Sponsor is the one who have to approve it. Sponsor has the only authority to approve, which is we're calling as client here, client or customer. So the team, once they have gone ahead and created a project scope statement, which is approved and accepted by the customer, and we have acceptance criteria also. So we have, remember, acceptance criteria is a very important term, because this is the acceptance criteria agreed mutually between the project manager and the customer. Negotiation has happened. Customer pushed us, we pushed the customer. Finally, we have agreed. And that agreement is now a quality checklist. So I tell my team, guys, when you're doing this job, keep this criteria in mind, because customer will come back and check this accordingly. So my quality team will audit accordingly. My customer will come back and audit accordingly. My team has a clarity how to do that job. That's acceptance criteria. Now, once you have approved project scope statement from the customer, this is further broken down into small units we call as work package. What is work package? This is smallest unit of deliverable, which needs to be done. Like you have to complete a work. So smallest unit of deliverable, which needs to be delivered to the customer, is called work package. It does not make any logical sense to break it down further. Like what could be an example of work package? A wall. Can I say half wall? No, it does not make sense. So I have to deliver a wall, which is a work package, one single unit wall. I would not say half wall, 1/4 wall. No. So work package is smallest unit of deliverable, which has to be broken down. So the project scope statement, which is all possible requirements we've got here, it needs to be broken down. And that broken down, when job is done, we get down to the level of work package, and a structure is created, which is called WBS structure. WBS structure is a work breakdown structure, which is all the work decomposed, like you create a tree diagram kind of thing. Let me see if I can just quickly talk, show you like a WBS work breakdown structure, just to see an image. If you can, I can quickly show it to you. Let's just do for now. This is sort of a work breakdown structure. You're talking about more of a, you break it down, and you kind of get a clarity like how it needs to be. So this is like you break it down, and that will be more of a WBS kind of thing. So we'll see a sample of that as we move forward. But all these are breakdown. So you keep breaking it down. This is ideally a better word. This is what. Have a look at this. That's a WBS. So the deliverable has been broken down into like 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, within 1.2, 1.2.1. So the codes are written here, and practically this work has to be done. So WBS, what we get is the work packages are captured, and that work package is the smallest unit of work that needs to be like deliverable, which needs to be delivered to the customer and does not make logical sense. So when you talk about WBS, it's a complete like a tree or decomposition of work, and that all the work we coded there. All the work given there is coded without rather using a full description. We code it like this 1.1, 1.2. This coding is done, which will become very messy. So we always code, and these codes are called WBS codes, or also called code of accounts. The term is WBS code or code of account. Otherwise, it'll become too messy to write down all those like English literature. And that WBS code, how we know if I see some code like 1.1, 1.2, what do I know? What I don't understand anything that. So there is a WBS dictionary which will be created. A WBS dictionary will have all the details. So all the coded work packages that you have there will be written in WBS dictionary. It will tell you what is 1.1, what kind of job is it, who is assigned to that job. So everything related to that particular WBS, that element will be kind of captured there. So in a WBS dictionary is about details of all those coded, because all the work, all the deliverables have been assigned a code. And just by looking at a code, I can't understand. So there is a dictionary which has all details about that particular work. So work packages are actually, they will be added to a planning package. And let me kind of see if I can show you something. Well, this is planning package. So work packages, when you talk about the smallest unit of work, let me show you a quick example of a work package and planning package. Rather sketch this one. What is work? So we'll get into more details later. This is more of an overview and quick one. Let me show you what is this work package and planning package. So we have to do a structure work. So that we have to do the structure work. Do the construction and stuff like that. So we have to have like a ground floor and first floor. In the ground floor, we have bedroom, like room 1, room 2. And within this room, say, like similarly, first floor, we have room 1 and room 2. And within this room, we have the work packages here, which is the wall and say the ceiling. I'm just randomly creating. I'm not a construction guy, so spare me for that, like the meaning, wall and ceiling. So that's my wall and ceiling, wall and ceiling. It does not make logical sense to break down wall or ceiling. This is what we call as work package, the smallest unit of deliverable, which cannot be further broken down. The lowest level of your WBS. This is WBS, work breakdown structure. You broken down work and in a logical way. So smallest unit, the lowest level is work package, which is the smallest unit of deliverable. It can't be further broken down. These work packages are like sort of added in a group called planning package. This is called planning package. So when you do is put them in a group called like room 1. This is planning package. This is planning package. This is planning package. Even these rooms are under a planning package called group ground floor. So this is also planning package. So we have planning packages are like grouping. So when within planning package, you'll have actually work packages. And this planning package will roll up to the master work, which is structure work we're doing. This is called control account. Control account is the overall, the top level. So what could be control account? Like excavation, digging the mud out, that's finished. Structure work is a control account. Like doing the finishing work, services. So that needs to be decomposed. So this control account is the master one. And then you further break. So within control account, you will have planning package. Within planning package, you will have work packages. So all in all, quick early discussion on this one. Just wanted to make sure that we understand the terminology here. So WBS contains work package at the lowest level. Work packages add up to planning packages, and planning packages add up to control account. And these all work is coded into WBS dictionary. Now, once you do this job, approve the scope baseline. So when you're the sponsor, approves this. The baseline, like whatever the scope of work, this approved scope baseline will contain what? The project scope statement, the WBS, all the work packages, all the planning package, and WBS dictionary. This is, once it's approved, this cannot be changed unless there's a proper formal change approved method, change approval, like change request process is followed. That's only you will be able to change the work, because scope means the work and only the work which will be done. So whatever is not in this one, it will not be done. If you want something extra to be added, you have to go through the formal change request process, and that's only when this will be changed. This becomes a baseline. Sponsor needs to approve this, and when the sponsor is fine, where baseline has been created. Now, quick check on this one. Is it okay and clear? And this entire presentation will all cover this up, but it'll help you to kind of understand this. Yes, Maha, please go ahead. Control account are the higher part. Like, so when you talk about, when I'm doing a construction, what are example? I'm just kind of do a quick example of what is control account here. I'm just going to, like, I will not go ahead and break it down at that level, but I will quickly just talk about only the major, only the control accounts here. Just give me one, Maha, just give me one quick second. What will be control account? So when I'm doing the job, I have to do excavation. Once I have done the excavation, I will do the structure work. Please spare me for the people who are from construction. I may be wrong. You don't do this job in Yusuf in the software world. We talk about agile one. We'll come to that part also. We'll do the quick workforce agile one also. Structure, you do the finishing, or rather services, and then services will be, then you have some finishing touches, and finally you deliver. So that's a major works, which this is called control account. So management always reviews at the control account. They say, okay, excavation complete. And with this will be broken down. Excavation structure will be broken down. Services have you done, all broken. This is the major level that on top. And yes, this will be further. This, what is broken down are control accounts. Is it clear? I guess that was one question there. Control account, all the major sections which have to be covered. Management reviews at this level. They will say 20% completed, 30% complete. They will look at this level. The sequence, yes, all those major ones. This is what you need to do, and in order to do that, you break it down. Okay, let's, Maha, you have a question. Let me give me a quick second, Maha. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Thank you so much. I also wanted to understand that control account and a little bit confusion with this work breakdown, what you showed just now.
Okay.
That is the, no, if you can go back to the notes, I'll just tell you there.
I'll just go back to notes here and let's have a quick look at this one. What is it?
Yeah, a little bit up. If you can take this project scope of statement, project scope of statement and requirement traceability matrix. The project scope of statement, you said you will be getting it from the clients, and you know.
No. Requirements. Customer only gives you requirements. Customer cannot give you. Who defines the scope? No, nobody can give scope. Only the team defines the scope. Customer can only give a requirement. The team will say. So customer gave a requirement. We created requirement traceability matrix. Job of customer is over. We come with a team, and team sits down and defines to deliver this requirement what we have to do. Scope is basically how requirement is what is needed to be done, and scope is how it needs to be done. So how part will be decided by the team. So how will be the scope will be created, and this part is done by the team, not by, and will be finally approved by the customer.
Okay, so see, I'm not from the construction industry at all. I'm from offshore drilling industry. But the question is like, you said, like the company, when the management, they sit and they decide upon the project first, whether they are going to take it, and then based on the cost analysis and all, on the basis of that, then they plan to take a project manager to start with the work. Now, based on the requirement traceability matrix, we sit and make the project scope statement, and that's where the cost will come in. So if a company is picking up with some project, and when they're picking up the project, meaning they are talking to the clients, they're bringing in the project, and they're acknowledging the client that we are taking it up. So how do they, decide upon the cost, because the cost will be based on the requirement traceability matrix, what we get from the client after talking
Initially,
to them,
it's all done high level. It's all done high level. The discussions don't go that level. So you would talk about initial, it's high level discussion. These are all rough order estimate. So this discussion only will happen once you have, like, I wouldn't invest my time at that level when it is not even a project. This job is done by the project manager. That job is done by business analyst. So initial, the net present value and all that is done by other people. That is high level.
So as a project manager, when we are doing it, we are supposed to make a scope statement based on the cost what they have given it to us.
We'll be sitting.
I got you.
No, okay.
Got you, sir. Got you. Thank you.
Thanks. Right. So going ahead with this sequence here, primarily when we have the scope done, all in all, we will have to start with the scheduling. How long does it take? So next part is about schedule. Schedule management plan tells you how to define the timeline, how long it will take to complete the project. So we define activities. What we have done is we've got only deliverables. These are not activities. These are not tasks. The items which have to be done, we delivered, like a wall is a deliverable. So it's not a work. So I have to, in order to get the job done, like to how long it will take to deliver a wall, I need to know what task needs to be done. So that's when we sit down with the team and we define the activities which are required to complete that deliverable. So every deliverable we have to discuss and decide within the team what all tasks we have to complete. Say, for example, doing a wall, I have to do a brickwork, I have to do plastering, I have to do painting. So these are tasks which have to be done. And that's when I will have a wall in front of me. So the WBS only has deliverable. That's it. The lowest level, the work package only has deliverable, but does not have activities. So you further need to go back to every deliverable and break it down at task level, which is done for scheduling, because I need to tell you how long it will take. So activities are defined. Once you define those activities, like I'm talking about brickwork, plastering, painting, you have to put them in a right sequence, because if you don't put them in right sequence, I will not be able to tell you how long it takes. So I need to know what is the right sequence of doing that job. So if I am doing like building a wall, like making a wall, I need to know first job will be a brickwork. So I need to know how long it will take to do the brickwork. Then I need to put that in the right sequence. I'll do the plastering. Well, I know I should understand then how long it will take. Then it takes painting. But I should understand, if I put this in right sequence, I'll understand right after plastering, I can't do painting. There has to be a gap. You can't, because you have to let it dry. So when I put that in the right sequence, I will be able to understand dependencies. You can't just do like 1, 2, 3 directly. So you can do a brickwork, you can do plastering, but you have to let it dry before you do the painting. So there is a dependency between them. You got to understand there are certain dependencies based on nature of work, and you can only figure out once you put them in right sequence. If you just tell like how long brickwork takes, say 1 day, how long painting will take 1 day, how long plastering will take 1 day, 3 days done. No. Where would you fit in the 2 days of gap where you got to let it dry? That's why you have to put that in right sequence, so that you can define activities, but then sit down and discuss, plot the right sequence, so that you can know, we will be able to understand, is there a dependencies between them? And I will see, yeah, there is dependency. I have to let it dry. And in certain cases, you will have discretionary practice also. Well, I have a wall, which is like a wall. So I know I have to first do the brickwork. And this is the brickwork we have completed. Say a brickwork is done. Good job, pretty much. Now I can do the plastering. I can do the painting after like a given couple of days gap. Later on, when I have to do electrical work, will I still break the wall again? That's a waste of time. So common sense says no. Well, I can do that, but that'll be a waste of time and money. So discretionary says first, well, get the wall done, break the wall, make the duct, electrical stuff, and like do all whatever AC duct and all, and then do the paint, the plastering and paint stuff. So that's where it's a preferred one. So when I put them in the right sequence, I can discuss all these elements. So unless I have just a list of activities, I don't know what's the dependency. So you have to put them in right sequence to understand. Some are mandatory dependencies and some I will sort of adjust, because that's a logical way, because it will not make logical way to kind of do the pasting, the plastering and the painting, and then breaking the wall now once again for electrical work. So bottom line, there are certain dependencies within the task, and we must put them in a right sequence. That's what we'll be dealing with. Once you have done this job of putting them in right sequence, I need to estimate the duration it will take for every activity, like how long wall will take, how long plastering will take, and all that. For that, it's a big component, which is important one, is to understand how many people are doing it. So even if you want to do the estimation of activity, you need to know the resources. And for that, you need to have resource management done already. So before your schedule is done, your resource management plan should be done. Because without knowing how many people, how can you define the schedule? So this will be prepared at the same time. You can't do it like one after another. So at the same time, because I need to know how many people to estimate the activity. And on top of it, I have to look into the risk part of it. Risk has to be assessed, because what if something goes wrong? So, well, with the time, like say, for example, in planning everything one day and it rained. I can't do the brickwork. I can't do the plastering. It rained. So the risk is also there, which also has to be factored in. So I have to keep in mind, before I estimate the duration, I will be required to know the resources, and I will be required to know the risk associated. So keep this in mind when you do the scheduling. Before that, the resource management plan, technically the resource calendar, availability of resources will be available, and the risk register, which is all possible risk captured, will be available, so that we can estimate the time, keeping in mind how many people, what are the potential risks. We will estimate the activities here. Okay. Okay, Mr. Menes, we talk about dependencies, like how one task is dependent on another. So if I tell you that I have to do three things. If I do a brickwork, I have to do, like, to get a wall done, I can do brickwork, I can do plaster, and I can do painting. There are three things which I can do, and I will get the wall done. So if I tell you these things, if I just tell you, I can tell you that, okay, this is like 1 day job, 1 day job, 1 day job. So I can say that 3 days it will take me to deliver wall? No. I have to understand. When I sequence them, I say, okay, brickwork, once you do it, then you can do plastering. And when, okay, wait, oh, sorry. You can't do the painting immediately. Why? Because you have to give a 2 days gap here. So when you put them in right sequence, you know the dependencies, how these activities are dependent on each other. Why? Because I have to let it dry. I can't do the painting. That's the dependency you're talking about. Is it clear? Without putting them in right, just by looking at 3 activities, no, it probably will be 5. It will be more, because I have to look into how many people are doing it and what are the potential risks, so that I will sort of give you the clear timeline. And please make a note of this estimation techniques, because these are same both for cost and for time. Whenever you will be talked about any estimation technique in predictive, and you will be asked 100%. So please these are the 4 methods only. In predictive, Agile has different methods. So predictive one, you'll always see this one. A is analogous method, which is historical project information. Where would you get this from? Let me quickly ask you, and I've been asking this one. So where would you get this historical project information from? Analogous method is historical data. What do you call that? What's the term for that? What is the terminology? PMO will give it. What PMO will give it? What is the term for that? Repositories. What do you call that? That's one term. OPA, Organizational Process Asset. OPA, absolutely. It's an OPA, which will be given by PMO, which is a good reference point. If somebody has done it, why would you like to waste time? Somebody has done it successfully, use it. Best option. If you have historical reference, use it. Well, then it comes as parametric method. Parametric method is maths. If I have to build, say, 20 different walls, I will calculate the cost of building one wall and multiply with 20. That's how. So time or like the cost, whatever it is. So parametric is find the cost for one, unitary method, and then multiply. So if I have to design website, 500-page website, calculate the time taken for making 1-page website and multiply with 500, and you get the job done. So parametric is maths based. When you say historical information, you mean it been done before? Yeah, similar projects in the past done by previous people. That's OPA, historical. So I go to my project management office and ask them, give me similar project details, and they will give you those details, and that will give you a good reference point how somebody has done it before. So I can use it similar logics also with my customization, obviously. Then it talks about bottoms up estimation, very, very accurate, but very expensive and very time consuming. So here what you do is you go at the lowest level of WBS. At lowest WBS, you go at every work package And then you go at like every individual level and you see how much of time hours of this person, how many hours of this person, which is very, very difficult to do for a large project. Very small project, it's easily possible to go and do. It's very accurate because you're going at every minute level. And then you're testing like how many hours of this person or experience this person, the productivity, you go at that level, which is very accurate, but again, not possible for large projects. So you don't do a bottoms up one. Honestly, the best option is this, or you switch to the last one. Well, I mean, these are also done, but again, practically the 3-point estimation is statistics driven. So people who are coming from Six Sigma, it is 100% the normal distribution logic. 3-point estimation is the way to estimate the duration, which is technically used. It's 100% like statistical way. For example, like people from UAE, just for example, I have to travel from Dubai airport to say Burj Khalifa. How long will it take? Let's estimate the timeline. Formula is here. Best case scenario, how long it will take if you don't find any traffic. Absolutely, like you're the only one probably running on that road. Best case scenario, how long it will take to travel from Dubai airport till Burj Khalifa. Tentatively, how long? 25 minutes? Okay. I'm just going with majority says, I'll go with 30 when most of the people said 30. In general, how long does it take? Like given the current, like whenever you go and in general, how? This is the best. Was it 30 minutes, 45 minutes or what? It generally, like in the best case scenario, the fastest you can reach is 30 minutes. Was that the answer? Okay, here it could be 60. Let's kind of give it 60. Worst case scenario, when you get traffic, and I've seen it's vast, it's bad. And it's really bad when it gets stuck. We get stuck. But again, in general, well, I've not been stuck with that kind of traffic, but pessimistic one. Worst case scenario, if you get stuck, have you seen or experienced anything which is very, very bad? And probably it's because of heavy traffic. Worst case, no, 60 is what we talk about. 75, 90 minutes. Okay. Floods were very bad. Yeah. So this one, so we discuss it, estimate it based on best case scenario, worst case scenario, most likely. What do? You apply with this formula. So like it'll say here 30 minutes plus say 4 times of 60 minutes plus 90 minutes, all divided by 6. That's the formula. So you do this math and you get the estimated timeline, and that's how it's calculated. Estimate. This is 100% statistics driven. There's some concept called normal distribution. It is where it's coming from. And then this numbers that you will be getting, there's a 95% probability that this will be like, this is way too accurate, and it works fine. Absolutely. Because I've dealing with Six Sigma, I can tell you, well, this is absolutely, I would any given day, if I don't have historically, I will 100% go for this. It is going to be correct. So practically 4 methods of estimation, be it for time, be it for cost, 4 methods are same. While you have got your time, like this, you will be kind of creating something called schedule. You'll be creating the schedule, developing the schedule. The last part here, you develop the schedule. You'll use some sort of project management information system, some sort of tool. What kind of tool? Microsoft Project, Jira, Primavera, whatever softwares you're using. So to develop the schedule, because you got the time, you need to plan put the timeline, get some software in place. That's called project management information system. So any kind of software, whatever. Most common people use Microsoft Project. In Middle East, people use Primavera a lot. So whatever it is, all are same. Like technically all are same. So all in all, with this tool, you will be able to identify some activities called critical activities. We will be doing some calculations here when we do get to that slides. Right now, I'm just kind of talking like so some critical activities will be found where it says 0 buffer. That means these 0 float means those activities are very critical. They do not have extra time. If they get late, those activities will get late. Your project will get delayed. So those are called critical activities. We'll understand these terms. So they will calculate critical path, which is the longest path. So these are activities done while you do the scheduling part. You find the total extra time buffer that you have on the project. So we'll learn about these terminologies, something called total float, free float, critical path. Bottom line is all delayed, like linking with your scheduling part. So you have to develop a schedule, and because you've got estimated time, you put that in the schedule. you will be required to learn all these definitions, everything here, or at least the ones that I've documented here. Please memorize them, because it will be. So the one I've been saying, do not memorize, but this one, this is more of a life cycle part, and these are all elements which are related with us. So everything here will be definitely, and you'll have understanding when you go through presentation, but it's more of a concise version of your entire predictive model. All in all, these, and we will be performing these activities. They are like so all, let me kind of quickly show it to you, just all, at least clarity wise. So we'll have to do this activity here. This activity when we complete, let me show you a quick one here. 1 second, instructor material, PMI. Yeah. Here, this is what we will be. We'll be doing this activity here. Here it is. Let's see. This activity we will do. We'll be trying to see how to do this activity. How do you find how long it will take? How much of extra time we have? How much of time we don't? Which activity will be critical one? So we'll perform these activities. I'll share this one with you. So we will learn this. So those terms will become absolutely easy. It's very easy, but all in all, they're important. Very important, I would say, because schedule will become a schedule baseline. Again, baselines means bottom line, this is fixed. This is fixed. So you have to do it, and pretty much if your project gets delayed, you so you have to only update. You can update the baseline through a proper change management protocol method. So this is again going to be approved through the proper, like again the sponsor. Once its schedule is approved, well, this becomes a baseline again. Once again, last section here before we call it a date for today. I don't want to be going too far here. This is, I guess we can cover the baselines here. Our session is supposed to end in another 10 minutes. That's the planned timeline. Not exceeding it, I guess. That's the planned timeline till another 10 minutes. So we have a 3.5 hour session with a half an hour break in between. So quick one. Let's talk about this. And okay, let's do one thing. Let's park it for here. Let's not extend it anymore. So I hope I'll be sharing this file. The NHS will discuss it on Monday before we get started, because I have to share, do a quick recap for like a overview for Agile also. For that, I'll have to show you a video. That's it. It'll be fine. Agile is as simple. 5 minutes video, you'll be done. So this is going to take time because this is the difficult part. There will be technicalities here. So we'll discuss. I'm stopping it here. You will have this information with you. You will have with the finance department. Absolutely, yes, Mr. Yusuf. You will have. So we'll talk about all the work can be delegated here, but not one work. We'll talk about the integration part. We'll discuss them. But I'm sharing this file. But before we do that, let me just quickly, give me 1 quick second. I will be sharing it now. I will be. Give me 1 quick second. That's why I just want to wind up right now so that I can share the file, get a confirmation from you that were you able to download the file or not. That's all. Just allow me 1 quick second here. I'm sharing this one right away. That's 245. And so all you have to do is download this Excel file. You will have all the links here. When you download this Excel file, you will have all the links, and there from you can download all the files, material, and everything. So I'm sharing this link once again. And right now, while in this session, I'm just sharing it right away. So you can, and I would like to just quickly take a confirmation. Very few, very few formulas. Like very, very simple ones, and that we will be working on. See, similar definition, it's more about conceptually we should know. It's like conceptually we should know, that's it. So again, it's not about, I really want you to kind of just make sure that you understand the process, how it is done. So if you download the file I've uploaded here, the link I've shared in the chat, please, if you can open up that link and download this Excel file. If you're able to download this Excel file, you will have, so if anyone can confirm that you are able to download this Excel file, all that you need to do is just do that. That's it, pretty much will be done. Because from that Excel file, okay, Nitin has confirmed. And when you open up the download that Excel file, you will have all the notes, all the links in there. So if you, let me just kind of, just for a matter of fact, well, you just have to refresh it, Mr. Mohammed. You just have to refresh your Google Drive. You'll be, okay. So when you download this Excel file, you can see these 3 links. When you download this Excel file, because I'll be using Excel file, you got these 3 links. All you have to do is look at the exam prep material, open up this link, copy, open up. Now the link. So you just need to maintain this link of notes which are shared, and you will be fine. Every other material is there that you need. So just keep the Excel file with you. You'll be fine, because in Excel file, you'll have all the notes, and I'll share a lot of stuff. So everything is here. You will have all the things, stuff. So notes one, please maintain, because I will continue to share all the material, various day, like day one material I've shared here. So you have Excel. There will be some other additional material. I'll keep sharing through this drive. Perfect. How to download the Excel file? Just do a right click and option of download. Just do a right click and download. That's it. You should be able to do that. Okay. So, well, we're done for the Word file. I will be sharing. it. I have to put that in the So this is just right now we've done it. So I will be sharing some more material. So please, if you have not been able to see the this link, just refresh the Google Drive. Just refresh it. That's it. Right click and download. Just right click and download. That's it. And yes, the additional material, I will be sharing it by tomorrow. Some of the like the Word file and other stuff, I'll be putting that in this Google Drive. The day one folder, I'll put it there over the weekend. Just allow me time till tomorrow, because there's some other material I have to share also. So right now, just share at least the material. I will post that in the WhatsApp group tomorrow morning, that I have uploaded remaining things. Yes, Mrs. Mahmoud, I'll check that out. No problem. So right now, I've just shared this Excel file. Rest of the things unable to download. Diana, Diana, I'm not sure why. So you're not able to download Excel. Is it what you're saying? Just refresh your Google Drive. Are you able to see the file? Okay. So when you do a right click, you should get a file option of download only. Yeah. I'm not sure why is that. Right clicking would not able to. You're not getting an option of download option there, Mr. Abdul. I'm sharing the link once again. Here it is. Link once again. This is the one I'm talking about. Yeah, could be some pop-up blocker. Yes, some pop-up blocker could be there. Otherwise, it should be fine. One and a half months, Mr. Nurudin. 1.5 months I took. I took 1.5 months for me too. Okay. I will share. Okay, I will share this notes one. Diane, okay, done. Perfect. Perfect. So I guess we are good for now. And I will, when I share the remaining material in day one folder tomorrow, I will drop a note in the WhatsApp group that I have uploaded the remaining material there. So anyway, just let's connect on Monday and take it from there. But in the meantime, just check this additional material. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your valuable time, and do take good care of yourself.